This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and
And electrical.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour one of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is indeed Old School. A happy Friday to you and yours. Thanks for being a part of the show. Brought to you, as always, by the good folks over at Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. I'm Austin Orman. To my left, your right if you're watching on our streams. It is Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NFL vet, Jay Foreman. Jay, I did the unthinkable. Uncle Kev tried to will the good weather into existence, and my request for patio pounders yesterday brought that hawk. Ethley dropped 15 degrees in 12 minutes. It's still fine outside. The 40-ish mile an hour winds and a 15 mile an hour temperature drop. My bad, y'all.
Yeah, you had it. You asked for patio pounders, and we weren't ready. We weren't prepared for it yesterday, and so today we thought we were going to get a little bit of a break. But it was decent this morning, and then next thing you know, within like 30 minutes, it was like, yeah, it's probably too chilly today.
And yet I'm still wearing shorts, and I didn't pack a jacket. So I am.
It's hard.
I'm raging against this right now.
This is the hardest time of the year. It'll be really nice, like it was yesterday. No wind. Great temperature, and then like there's no way this wind would come in here in less than 24 hours. And this is Nebraska in April.
And it's only going to stick around for like 2 days before it's going to be back to the 70s next week.
There we go.
Here we go. We will get into the show with Eric, says my man Jay Foreman. Happy Friday, fellas. Eric, thank you for coming in peace as opposed to in violence today. We really appreciate it. Jay, some portal news. Nebraska men's basketball is indeed back on the board. We had been waiting for some news for Nebraska men's basketball throughout the course of the week. You added Bowden Kapke to the roster earlier in the week. If you're Fred Hoiberg and company, to shore up a little bit of the front line. The first news we got today was the Caden Betts commitment. We can get to that one second, because I think the bigger get is that Nebraska did indeed land its point guard target, Trevin Leonhardt from Utah Valley, 12, 5, and 6 per game last year, 38% three-point shooter, upper mid-70s from the free throw line. A lot of people across the country reacted to this news saying he was a, kind of a sneaky top 100 transfer portal guy for pretty much every list out there. And that it seems like Nebraska added a good one in the Utah Valley transfer.
Yeah, top 25 in assists as well. So you like a guy that can facilitate, got a little bit more size than what they had last year. And just kind of right along the pattern of what Fred and company has been able to do is go out and kind of identify talent that fits in both, talent-wise, but then also in the locker room, I guess you call it socially. Mm-hmm. And somebody that's looking to level up and can come in. They have to be smart basketball players as well. So, when you look at him, being able to shoot close to 38% from three, assist the ball, good size, continue to get better as his time at Utah Valley State. It's going to be a little bit of a transition, obviously, to the Big Ten, but you have all off-season for that, which is, the spring and summer, whenever he gets here. And then, obviously, through the non-con, I think he'll be more than ready to go when you tip off against the big boys.
It's a guy that came from a program that went 25-9 last year out there in the WAC conference. He has some interesting numbers underneath the surface. I think, first and foremost, Jay, what stands out to me, bit of an Ironman. Played 87% of the available minutes for Utah Valley last year. And if you're doing the math on that, you're essentially looking at a guy that played 35 minutes per game, which I think would go a long way. We know Sam Hoiberg was an Ironman for Nebraska. when he was out of foul trouble. So I think that that'll fit right in with what Nebraska will want to do, have an upperclassman, steadier guy on the floor. Also, has pretty darn good shooting numbers overall. It's a guy that was 76% at the free throw line, just about an even 60% from two, and 36% from three on over 100 attempts, but not necessarily a high volume guy. If you look at the usage percentages, he was fifth on that Utah Valley team, and even lower than that, the seventh or eighth in shots percentage when he was actually on the floor. A guy that'll pick his spots, be able to choose them, knock down the open ones that he gets, but probably more in a facilitator role, a guy that's going to be looking to get the rest of Nebraska's weapons involved, at least first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, you got Orme, obviously, and then obviously Frager back, then obviously with Price. You know that you need somebody that's going to get them the ball on time, on target, and that's what he does. And so also like that he came from a winning program. So when you're asking them to go above and beyond and grind it out in the offseason and all that stuff, you have a kid that's used to, good work and what the standards need to be that they actually, obviously set and obviously took to new heights last year. He can come in and jump right in the in the line as far as getting to work. And so a facilitator, a guy that can get paint touches, can get some easy shots, easy opportunities for, especially for Frager that's going into a new role of being a star and a starter is needed. And then, when you can hit the open three, handle the ball, play good defense, good within Nebraska's system or scheme, it's definitely a good get. In the top 100 portal guy is definitely where Nebraska's done really well.
How much do you, or text line, same question to you, 402-464-5685, how much do you worry about up transfers anymore in basketball? Is that even a consideration? We know that that's the route the Fred Hoibergs like to have gone. Is it any different up transferring in basketball as opposed to football?
To me, I don't think anymore there isn't that much of a big jump because we've seen so many guys be successful, going from, say like a Utah Valley State to a Nebraska, have a really good year. We've seen it all over, the national championship team obviously had the big man 23. He came from UAB. So, I mean, that's that's a little bit higher than Utah Valley State, but it's a big jump up to go to the Big Ten. So I don't really worry about it. It's more of physically getting your body ready. I think skill wise, everybody's, right on par. And obviously, I think Fred and those guys have, a little bit extra sauce where they're able to develop guys both on and off the court. So that allows them to go and project where somebody could be within the Big Ten because they had to devil in this type of area so long. I wouldn't say they have it mastered, but they have a good idea, who they want to target. You saw with Orme, the offense that he kind of, played in is a little bit like what Nebraska does. The transition's easier. You expect the same from this young man from Utah Valley State. So I don't really envision it as being too big of a problem. But I think it's good that he's going to come in and provide some spark, a little bit more size when you think about the Big Ten guards going against our guards from last year.
6'4", 175 is what he's listed at on College Basketball Reference and Ken Pomeroy, a guy that was an all-WAC performer last year on the all-defense team as well after he had a steal rate of about 3.5%, averaged over 2 steals per game, and about a half a block per game last year. Turnovers were a little bit high, 2.7 turnovers per game last year and 1.6 the year before that. But this is the guy that did the bulk of the ball handling in a much different system than what Nebraska's running. And that's where, Jay, I maybe wouldn't be so concerned about, does this guy have a turnover problem? How can he be a lead guard in the Big Ten if he's turning it over at that rate? Utah Valley really put the ball in his hands a lot. Yeah, they shared it their fair amount as well, but they were getting up and down a little bit. And I think, with Nebraska's emphasis on avoiding turnovers, with the style they play, I think it just lends itself to a naturally lower turnover environment. But where it'll be interesting to watch was you look at the up transfer, and I'm with you. I don't think it's necessarily of much, if any, concern. I mean, especially after you saw Bryce Williams not really skip a beat at Nebraska, and you can go up and down the list of guys like that. But in the clutch moments, in the crunch time kind of moments, final 4 minutes of the game after that U4 timeout, if he ends up with the ball in his hands, 10 seconds left in the shot clock, what does his decision-making look like? Is he still able to get that first step? Is he making the right decision? Is he trying to force a pass? Is he hunting his own offense? Because I do think that turnover number will naturally decrease in Nebraska's system. But I do think that Nebraska, looking for some of that spark in the half court, If the turnover rate is high when Nebraska needs him to create his own offense, that's a problem. If it's still low and he's getting shots up and setting other people up in those last 10 seconds when the initial read or two have broken down, if it stays low there, that's a really good indicator.
Yeah, you want somebody that's obviously going to be extremely efficient late in the shot clock, end of like right before like any other, any TV break or media timeout. You want somebody that can really be creative and instant offense. And it's not just them getting buckets, but making the right plays. You want to work on keeping your turnovers a little bit lower. You want to probably, I'd like to shave a full turnover off of that, with him, considering if he's going to be one of the main primary ball handlers and I like to call him table setters. So the one thing that I think will help him is Fred and company do a really good job of playing to people's strengths. I think they have more ball handlers than he was, obviously accustomed to at Utah Valley State. Also, you're playing with a little bit better talent pool and better players. And so you'd like to think, you have to go back and watch the games. Was some of those turnovers, a big portion of him trying to force the ball to some guys that weren't able to really do what he needed to do or the team needed to do with the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it, the emphasis in a league-wide emphasis on, let's just say, being really a stickler for the pivot foot and stuff like that? So you got to look at I've changed my kind of mindset. Not all turnovers in football are created equal. Interceptions aren't always the same, and neither are turnovers. I think I wouldn't say it's a good point. It's a good point that what you have to address when you get here, when you committed. So now Fred and those guys know it. He knows it.
Mm-hmm.
So when he gets off the plane or whenever he gets here, that's right in at the forefront, right? You like his 3-point percentage. Let's see if we can get an uptick in that. We can create you more easier opportunities, wide open threes, right? Let's see if we can get you some paint touches, maybe get your assist to turnover ratio obviously a little bit higher. Then we address the turnover or percentage or number based on teaching you the game and developing you. Yeah. So, you're not going and getting these finished products, guys, that you just roll the ball out and let them do it. It's going to be within the system. I like it. Got a little bit more skills and, than people give him credit for. I think he's an uptick in an uprising player. And so it's a good get for Nebraska at a position of need.
The other get that Nebraska had today came in the form of Caden Betts. This is a guy that was on Nebraska's radar out of high school. Nebraska really wanted him. He ended up committing to the Gophers first and foremost. Jay spent a couple of years up there, played 30 games for Minnesota in 23-24 and 24-25. Transferred out to Montana last year, where he played in 9 games, 59 minutes overall. But Nebraska lands him in the front court, 6'8" and about 215, 220 pounds for him. Did shoot 62.5% from 3 last year. Yeah. That is an absolutely eye-popping number, except that it was he was 5 of 8. For his college career, 12 of 31 from long range. So at least some potential shooting ability there. And my read on this one is this is a guy that Nebraska's wanted for a while, really pursued him out of high school, couldn't land him. He became available, and it's kind of weird to say you have a developmental project as a senior. Maybe this is a guy that Nebraska is taking with an eye toward the 5-in-5 rule, the 5 years of eligibility, potentially coming after this year, get his feet wet, and then see if there's a year 2 Fred Hoiberg transfer jump in him. Or number 2, it's just kind of Jared Garcia 2.0. And I know that's going to give fans some PTSD, but, for as nice as it would have been for Nebraska to have Jared Garcia be the reliable kind of 3rd or 4th option as a big man, I think, and we'll get to this part in a little bit here, I think if Caden Betts is your 3rd most, important, kind of front court, big man, post-ish presence, that's a problem. But if he's your 4th, front court guy, that's where things work out. Because I think Orm there on the wing, I think he's probably a 4. You can factor him into the front court, so Betts might slide down to the 5th option instead of the 4th. But if you have Bowden Kapke, you have Leo Curtis in rotational minutes, Orm at the 4. If Betts is that 4th guy, not really loving the situation. He'll get thrust into some action probably more often even than Garcia was if things click. But if he's the 5th guy where he has that developmental year, break glass in case of emergency, and Nebraska can find a truer center, maybe alongside Kapke and Curtis, or maybe just a kind of in-betweener type of guy, I don't think this is a high risk, high reward move at all. I think this is super low risk. I don't think Nebraska is expecting the world of him. If he's playing 10 minutes per game, either something went really right with his development and it clicked, or it went really wrong and there's some injury or underperformance somewhere else on the front court.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to hedge your bets, and obviously he has potential. So now you got to figure out, how can you bring out this potential in this last year? Hopefully you get 2. I think you could be a poor man's Josiah Alec. Obviously, Josiah Alec started to come in, and his energy was infectious. But I think you can come off if you're playing, 8 to 10 minutes or 6 to 10 minutes or whatever it is. That's the first thing you can do. Try to be really active on the offense and defensive boards, put back points, and then if you have a chance, be a more established open 3 shooter, which isn't going to be a game-to-game basis, but when you get the opportunity. And then if he grows from there, then that bodes well for Fred and staff as far as being able to develop him, and then obviously him taking advantage of the opportunity with being with Nebraska and obviously this coaching staff.
It sure would be. So then, Jay, it leads to this question here as we start turning our attention toward what's left for Nebraska to do. 3 roster spots left. What do you think those 3 final roster spots could look like or should look like for Nebraska for this coming season?
Another guard and a big man. And then you could maybe have a true project, as the third. But you want to get another guard, ideally a combo guard, that can, come in and spell this, the starters or whatever. And then obviously a big man that's definitely physical and being able to, obviously like a rim protector. But if you get a pick and pop 4/5, 5/4, long as he's effective and efficient on defensive rebounds, I'm all for it. It gives you more options against, matchup problems that you had faced previously, more size. And when you think back, really realistically against the Purdue, both games, but in particular, the last game, you want to hedge your bets. You want to know what you were really deficient at last year, really excellent in last year. Add to what you're doing, but then also you want to make sure you address their needs on the defensive end and obviously some ball handling issues. So the exposure of the Vanderbilt game, and I'll just say the last Purdue game, I think was really good note taking and attacking in the portal.
Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Let us know what you think as well. 402-464-5685. Whether there are some names out there that you're interested in or positions, and that's where I agree completely with you, Jay. I think in terms of priority, I would probably lean backcourt first if I was Nebraska.
Yeah, if I had to choose between one or the other, everything being equal, Leotis is back in full effect. Everybody else is back. Definitely backcourt.
I noticed that Nebraska lands Caden Betts, and then I think you're giving Fred his barbecue invite card back. I'm kidding. I just thought it was funny.
Fred's always invited to the barbecue. He's even he might even get back to
bring the side dish, maybe.
Yeah, I would bring him in. Yeah, I'll bring him. I'll bring him back to Frederick, Maryland. Get him in the the dance line a little bit, electric slide. He can get down a little bit. I've seen Fred get down a little bit. So yeah, he'd be there. He'd fit right in.
All right.
Yeah, I just keep him away from a couple of uncles. Try to give him black and mild or something. I was like, listen, man, we got to keep him. We got to keep his mind right. Okay, we got to feed him and make sure we get him back out there and get some more recruits. Take him down to DC.
See what's down there. There's some talent down there.
Hey, man, Fred, look at that, man. Let's just go in here and see what's happening. Stop, get a haircut going.
Nice fresh cut.
Get a nice fresh cut. Take it down there. Yeah,
we can do it, Fred.
Yeah,
that's simple.
Yeah, look what we have here.
Hey, look at this guy.
Yeah,
you new here,
right? Don't you know each other? I thought you did.
I thought you did. Hey.
Yeah, Fred, this is my boy. There you go.
Hey.
See there. No,
make some introduction. Shake some hands.
Yeah, I think. I think it'd be interesting. I mean, it's always pressure packed. I think I look at the portal in basketball is no different than football. There's guys in the portal for football that have, good quote unquote stats or their resume looks good. When you got coming to this Big Ten, it's a small list. And that's where Nebraska's done really good because they've been able to kind of add to their own list, and they've had to do a really good job of identifying talent, identifying character, and they do a heck of a job from the weight room and whatever they're doing in developing. And it comes to leadership, and whenever they decided to change, it's really worked like gangbusters.
Back on the additions point.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric.
Eric, as long as there ain't no raisins in it.
Fair enough.
Potato salad, you listen.
Gotta be careful with it.
Listen, I will never make potato salad for one of my family reunions. You will get, if it's not good, you will get annihilated.
Worse than the mac and cheese?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
You will get I mean, they might talk about you all the way until Christmas. Yeah.
That's like 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, they'll dog you. You'll be on the text. They'll have a secret text chain about you. Yeah.
The daughter's phone's open. You see, what you texting?
Yeah.
Wait, I recognize that.
Yeah.
What's my potato salad doing? Hey, wait a minute.
Where's your non-cooking dad at? Yeah, that's what you. Yeah, man. Former family and Sewell family, boy, they get over in Frederick, Maryland, they start cutting up. So
watch out.
Yeah.
It be your own sometimes. In terms of additions, then in the backcourt, I do think my preference for Nebraska, Jay, would be for Tyreek Coleman over like an Ice Emery because of the potential for multi-year.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this and how there aren't a lot of multi-year contracts being signed for players because of flexibility, for coaches because of flexibility, for keeping the books clean and everything. But I think for Nebraska, if they would be able to land a guy like Tyreek Coleman from Illinois State, he was just a freshman last year, came off the bench mostly for Illinois State, spot started, could really grow into that role and be kind of that point guard, maybe of the future for at least a couple of years. And so Ice Emery, coming off the bench in the Horizon last year, 6th man of the year, would be a good get too. But again, then you're kind of banking on 5-5 and maybe having to go back into the portal again after just 1 year if it doesn't pass or if he doesn't want to stick around, whatever it is. And I'm not saying that if Nebraska lands Coleman, he's a shoo-in to be here for multiple years, but I think he would get some pretty extensive minutes this year. I think you could see him growing into that lead guard role. He can envision himself in it. And, maybe he breaks out and someone else offers him an even bigger bag. But I think with Nebraska's emphasis on continuity, with Nebraska, having been searching for that lead guard for a few times, I think if Nebraska can give itself the option to get a multi-year guy in right now, build with him, grow with him, and show him the pathway to progress in the system, I think that would probably best serve Nebraska in the long run rather than just getting a 1-year guy, if possible.
Yeah, it'd be a good time to do that. That's why you don't have such a big hole like you have this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of have a 2 stair-step plan. You can really, really emphasize the development as you're earning more playing time. You can really kind of grow with him. You can match him up ideally with the 2 young freshmen that are coming in, from high school. So you'd have a nice little, addition in that year 2 of him. And then, the rest, could be history from there. So you definitely, while you were talking, what's going to be interesting to see is what programs identify what positions potentially that they would want to have some rollover with. So say you are like Michigan State really likes their point. I mean, they go do like bigs and too, but like point guards and stuff like that, or whatever it is, really tough point guards that are smart and, really will be okay with some tough sledding early in their career, pay off in year 2 or 3. And then you think Michigan, right? It's big guys. You got the Tennessee guy that essentially as soon as they got beat by Michigan, he was ready to go there. So, but they've Coach May has shown over his career or recent career, big guys develop really well in his system.
Yeah.
So if it's somebody that has potential and potentially could be special, I wonder if that will deter him from really attacking the portal in the future if he's able to get, say some 4 or 5 star big man. Little slow start to his freshman year, get him to a 3-year contract, really looks good in his second year, bang, gangbusters in year 3.
Yes. Following up on a couple different points you made there from our text line, actually, Byron the Hog Farmer mentioned second ball handler as well. And Craig, we'll get to your text here in just a second. But Byron says, Kapke probably starts at the 5, probably need another big. Can't depend on Ugnius Jerushavicius. I think I'm operating under the assumption, and Nebraska is as well, that Ugnius Jerushavicius isn't back. I'm not so sure the door has been slammed shut on that.
Isn't or is?
It most likely is not going to factor into the roster next year. If Ugnius Jerushavicius is back and healthy, I think that goes a long way for Nebraska, where, it's a competition between he and Kapke for that starting spot. Maybe Leo Curtis is the 3rd big again, but you're actually more confident putting him in there through foul trouble or matchup dependent. Maybe Kapke could slide down to the 4, Orm to the 3, Sanford to the 2 in some supersized lineups with a point guard or Frager at the 2, what have you. But no, I do think that with Ugnius Drushevicius' status, questionable at best, shall we say, for Nebraska, another big would be helpful. You mentioned the freshmen then, Jay, and Craig on our text line asks, what are your guys' thoughts on the two freshmen coming in and getting minutes? I would say that Colin Rice probably is more blocked by Sanford, by Frager, potentially even by Essegian, right? I think Rice is a pretty true wing. Maybe he can slide down to the 2, but I think if he's primarily a 3, he's blocked by those 3 guys and maybe even Orm, depending on the lineup. As for Lanier, I think he does have an interesting kind of opportunity in front of him, depending on what Nebraska is able to accomplish here in the remaining, 3 roster spots. Because if he's a bucket getter from the jump, could Nebraska use a scoring spark? If Essegian is inconsistent or gets banged up again, the ankle wasn't quite healed. If Nebraska, thinks Cale Jacobson, they like him more at point guard behind Leonhardt, and they want someone with a little more scoring pop alongside him off the bench as a 2. I think Lanier has a little clearer path with the backcourt being a little less crowded right now and maybe more surmountable than the wing position. But I still think Fred Hoiberg's natural inclination is to redshirt those guys, get them in the program, get them in the weight room, and hope that they trust the plan, right? It hasn't been a 100% hit rate for Nebraska in redshirting, certainly, right? Nebraska's lost plenty of guys due to transfers, but I think Nebraska's built up enough of a pipeline that I would hope that both those guys can see the vision to get better this year, to maybe contribute in spurts like Leo Curtis did for Nebraska, but still be able to stick around and see it through.
Yeah, for sure. It's just going to be interesting to see. Obviously, last year's portal, it's kind of like the same thing. Like the initial portal class, you didn't get a lot of love, right? But really paid off well. Same with this right now, moving forward. And what new pieces, what new wrinkles via the portal that Fred has envisioned, to add to next year's team.
Yeah.
Right? To try to make a deeper run, or better yet, to have 2 really consistent years of making the tournament and being one of the, top, 15, 20, 20th ranked teams to really set the tone for when you have to go back in the portal in 2027.
Still more out there. Again, 3 roster spots available for Nebraska to use should they so choose. I would guess Nebraska uses at least 2 of those. Then in terms of just the project type of guy, Jay, just to throw an example out there, that's where Nebraska might look for someone in like the Matar Diop range, right? I know that was Stricky's guy back in the day. Maybe like a Koyanets, maybe Leo Curtis fits that mold, another guy like that. But it can be, more of that developmental spot, right? I think that if you have the roster spot, you may as well use it. You hate to bring a guy in, invest a year and a half or 2 of good, hard developmental work in him just for him to transfer out as soon as he's getting ready to see the floor. But I also don't think it hurt, right? Because if you bring a flyer like that in, you can learn how to work with more guys. You can learn something as coaches, as developmental staff. And, it's the risk you run in this day and age of college basketball. But I think if Nebraska could go and get, the next Matar Diop, X factor, super high ceiling, but might never see him on the floor sort of guy, it's not a bad gamble to take with an open spot.
No, you got to do anything and everything right now, because you do it right, and you draw 3 sevens, you hit the jackpot, and he can develop into something pretty special. So I think they have a good idea what they want to do roster management wise. I think they're bringing in enough competition that guys aren't comfortable, but then also going to continue to develop, and this is all part of it.
Tend to agree. All right, speaking of rolling sevens, a couple guys being talked about within the first 7 picks of the NFL draft, Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs. But they're a running back and a safety. Not usually positions you see go that high in the draft. Both those guys, are they good enough players to warrant the unorthodox potential selection? We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring is here, and it's time to wake up Judson. Judson Irrigation is eager and ready to get your sprinkler system up and running for the season. Judson's technicians will check for winter damage, adjust your sprinkler heads, and show you how to set your controller for effective sprinkling coverage. The Judson Irrigation team is here for you. Stay safe.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Lincoln is full of great golf courses in a state that is getting national recognition for exceptional golf. Friend Country Club is worth the drive, just 40 minutes from Lincoln and home to one of the state's most respected 9-hole courses. Enjoy their restaurant with popular items like a 14-ounce ribeye, 10-ounce sirloin, or chicken fried steak. Open Thursday through Saturday from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Expand your horizons with a trip to Friend Country Club, just 40 minutes southwest of Lincoln. It's worth a visit.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for their members. Whether it's a range session to get accurate club distances, 18 holes with some buddies, or a one-on-one lesson with Back Nine's PGA teaching professional, their top-of-the-line full-swing simulators are there to help you lower your score in perfect conditions. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, the premier indoor golf experience.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2 for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Time for a new AC? Call Bryant. Get rebates now and lower operating costs every day. For comfort and efficiency, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Do you ever feel okay in your current job and profession, but wonder if there's a better company that can offer more? Vision Mechanical is now hiring for journeyman plumbers and HVAC service technicians. Vision Mechanical offers top-of-the-industry wages, 100% paid health, disability, and life insurance, 401k with employee match, and paid holidays and vacation. Vision Mechanical believes in craftsmanship, teamwork, and building a better future one project at a time. Apply today or learn more at visionmechanical.net or email Ron at vmech.net.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back in to Old School. Austin and Jay with you. Big thanks to Heartland of Nebraska Windows for sponsoring hour one of the show. You see their logo right by Jay. You see their information scrolling down below if you're on stream. If you are not on stream, we'll let you know The ways you can get in contact with Heartland of Nebraska Windows is by giving them a call at 402-430-3852 or by visiting them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. All sorts of great deals, offers, work, and service going on with that family-owned and operated business there in Hallam. Well, Jay, we were going to talk some NFL draft, and we will, but some breaking news out of the portal related to Nebraska men's basketball, but it's about one of the departures. Berke Buchtengel, Mr. Little Red's cowboy hat himself, thinks he can help take Vanderbilt to the next level. That's right. Berke Buchtengel commits to Vandy out of the portal.
Man.
He says, y'all are sorry. Y'all need help. I got you.
Man, it's crazy, man, when you think about it. He got his tattoo 28-7. Probably later that day, jumped in the portal. Was originally supposed to go to Kansas State, right?
They were
right.
one of the early targets.
Now you go to Vanderbilt, a team that we beat. To play the same role, probably.
Yeah.
As 99, was it McCullough, McDonough?
McLaughlin. Mm-hmm.
And he was horrible.
Or a Karake, potentially.
Yeah. He was a little bit more athletic than Berke.
Yeah, a little bit. But they played four.
But 99 was garbage.
It was not good.
So hopefully whatever the money was where they needed, and maybe that was just kind of a mutual decision. Maybe Fred had his eye on Ormy and was like, all right, we got a guy about size for size. We'll give up a little defense for more offense. And so, but either way, Berke's a good kid. I think he took a big step, definitely in physically reshaping his body, which was a huge deal his first year. Got better, was really consistent. And played well in some big games. He played well against Vanderbilt. He played well in some other games. And so, you wish him nothing but the best.
12 points in 27 minutes with 4 boards, and made 3 for Berke against Vanderbilt there.
It was the one that gets started.
So
start the game off, wasn't it?
The first
early
on.
Yeah.
So
there you go, Berke.
Good for Berke Buchtengel. 2375 says, so Vandy has more NIL money to offer. I mean, I'm sure that's part of it, but Vanderbilt also has not been shy about that in football, in basketball. And for as bad as Vanderbilt, had been for a while, gotten a reputation as a baseball school there in the SEC for a while. Let's not pretend like Vandy's not a money school.
Yeah.
Like they're loaded over there. So let's not pretend like it's some huge shocking upset that, an essentially quasi-private university with a big old, med center and a bustling hub of America has money.
Yeah, they got a lot of money, and they're not afraid to spend it. You saw what they were able to do in football, and so they're trying to improve their program. Obviously, they saw Berke up close and personal, like what they saw, and obviously trying to bring him in the fold and see what they can get out of him, see if they can, get that point. It's a win-win. It's a win for Berke, a win for Vanderbilt if he averages close to 10 points.
I mean, he averaged 6.5 and 6 last year.
Yeah.
Little uptick both.
Yeah. 10 and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be with the way that they play, or at least the way that Vandy played last year.
And I'm sure Broadway is in for a heck of a time.
I forgot. He's gonna be in the Elvis outfit pretty soon.
Front and center.
Yeah.
Watch out, Broadway. Berke's coming.
All
right. To the NFL draft, which has in recent years actually been held in Broadway in Nashville. But a couple prospects there, Jay. They've gotten a lot of buzz, but maybe don't fit the quote unquote positional value kind of rankings, right? Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, will. Arvell Reese, David Bailey, etc. as edge rushers will. But Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs, pretty consensus top 10 players, usually top 5 players in terms of pure overall talent before you factor in, position. Are we overthinking these two guys? Are they good enough to go to any team, regardless of fit, and not worry about, you can find a good safety anywhere, you can find a good running back, anywhere in this day and age of the NFL? Or should we be taking some of that positional value into account with these guys where, they're really good, but I don't know, they're not Saquon, or there's a lot of good safeties around the league, and they'll be good for a while, but we don't necessarily want to be the team to take the chance on them that high.
I think it's two different, like, the answer is yes, you need to really take these guys because they're really good. I think Caleb Downs is special. The reason why Love is up there so high is it's the supply and demand. Normally, in a normal year like last year, you would pass on him because you could get our boy Kyle Monungai in the 7th round. You could get some other guys that played, starter minutes late in the draft. That's not going to happen. There's a serious fall off after Emmett, and say Emmett is anywhere from like I've seen him, 4 to 7 as far as where he's at in the running backs, right?
Yeah, which has been like late 2nd to early 4th,
right? And so you have one that has breakaway speed, dominant the last 2 years, effective in the pass game. That's where he's at. Then you have Caleb Downs. Now you're starting to see a little bit of the change in the guard of what do you need on defense to be a top tier defense. You need a guy that, is kind of like a hybrid. Caleb Downs is not as big as, Derwin James or any of these new kind of hybrid / linebacker safeties. But what he's able to do is trying to makes up for it with the playmaking. He's played in a NFL system, with Matt Patricia. He's been successful. He can blitz. He can play the run. He can play in the box. He can play the deep half. He can play man-to-man, and he has really, really good ball skills. So, and he's a sure tackler too. So that's why he's going so high, because of he's mastered every single position that he's been. He's played some nickel too. So, so everything that he's done, he's played it in college as an All-American. That's why you pick him, because it's a copycat league, and that's the way things are changing. You talked about Jalen Ramsey and all that. That's where we're trying to get him. We're trying to get that guy. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see, where they go and what teams decide to pick him. Because if you're a team that has a starting duo at safeties, you still pick him. You still pick Caleb Downs because he's that special.
Over top 5 edge rusher in the class?
Oh, that's hard.
I know.
No, that's hard. That's
hard.
hard.
Depending on team context, and I know it goes team by team, but
and team identity.
Okay, sure.
Like if you have that would be hard, but
because you're looking at like Reese.
If it's not Sonny Styles or Reese,
David Bailey.
If it's not those 3,
Reuben Bain.
Bain's a multi-2 player. Okay, if it's not those 4,
okay,
and you're in the top 10, let's say, and those guys are gone, and you're
run
like
that card
7 to 10 or whatever, even like top 12, you got to pick him. He's just that good, even if you have a couple good safeties.
So then back on Jeremiah Love, is he Ashton Genty? Is he Saquon Barkley? Like top 10 level of good, or I know some of it's team context.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. I think he's a combination of both. He has good vision, taller, slender guy. He came out of high school, highly ranked and all that stuff. He has the breakaway speed like Saquon. Obviously, doesn't have the experience. He needs to go to a place where he's going to be by committee at first, kind of like Travion Henderson did. And then when the season goes on, they give you more. You're going to see him, oh, man, he just had a 40-yard touchdown, which is a huge run in the NFL. He just had a 20-yard touchdown, a 25-yard touchdown. You're like, yeah, that's why you pick that guy. Yeah. Because he, in a pinch with his skill set, can give you a little bit of help and return ability too, kickoff return especially. So you're talking about striking the fear in the team. Now you have them in a football play that the offense has just as much as advantage and disadvantage as the kickoff team, and maybe has more advantages as a return team, right? Because they got to time up how they hit the line versus, way long ago when I did, it wasn't as uniform. We were running from way back on the 20 or whatever. So I think Jeremiah Love is pretty dang good. I wasn't really sold on him coming into the season. As you start to watch him and see what he's done, and he's been consistent for the last 2, just like week in and week out.
Well, his backup is pretty dang good
and
too.
his backup might go first round.
Darian Price,
right? Yeah. So that lets you know about competition. That lets you know about by committee. You've done it by committee, but that dude is raised his level of play to where he's the bell cow in a room or a running back room by committee.
The other one I'll ask you about here: are you taking? Again, I know team context matters, but in a vacuum, are you taking the sure thing in Carnell Tate, or do you trust Jordan Tyson to get over injury issues?
Carnell Tate.
That's quick. Okay.
Pedigree, production. And if you're worried about him, running a 4.5 flat and a 4.4, That means you haven't watched enough tape and see how he dices people up in running routes.
Is he a Buka 2.0?
Yeah, you could. That's a good comparison.
Just first blush.
Yeah, yeah, and that's not a bad. That's a great comparison. In 2 years, he's going to be doing what his other teammates are doing, putting in work on everybody in the NFL.
You would also pair him up with another former Buckeye in Chris Olave out there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Chris Olave is, got to get a full year in. I think he kind of got the injury bug, concussion bug a little bit. But after that, I think he'll be just fine.
Speaking of Ohio State wide receivers, did you see the Jackson Smith and Jigba thing today?
Oh, talking about he had a size 12 at Ohio State, and then he wore a 10.5 in Seattle, and then he doesn't have any hamstring issues.
Right.
How's that? First, how's your feet shrink?
Well, I mean, was he wearing too many extra socks?
He's probably wearing shoes that are too big.
Yeah. I guess that could affect it, but
I've heard
this is Ohio State. Like, you don't want those metal foot measuring things. You stick a dude's foot in, and you just take him at his word.
I won't say any names. I know there's a guy that wears a size about three sizes too big around here. Some guys
that
like
just wouldn't even be comfortable.
Some guys like it like that. Like that. Say you're usually supposed to wear a 12 and you get a 14. Some guys like that.
I just
Isn't that what you get? Don't you get blisters from that?
Well, I think that'd be weird having all that extra shoe hanging out the front. You're not even using it. What's the point of it? Foot could slide unless you're choking off circulation, having to tie your shoe so tight. I thought that was bizarre.
Yeah, that's very bizarre.
So credits to the Seattle Seahawks for knowing how to measure foot size, I guess. So Ohio State, catch up. You're behind the game. Let's go to break. When we get back, little LeBron thing came out from The Athletic. We'll talk about it briefly, and I'm sure in the offseason we will have more time to talk about the King and what the future could hold for him. But the recent news on LeBron James ahead of the NBA playoffs next.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
We hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and guys, this is your reminder to take your health seriously. If you've noticed tremors, stiffness, or slower movement, don't ignore it. Parkinson's disease affects men more often, and early detection can make all the difference. This spring, take control. Get answers, take action. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're helping you spring back into health with advanced technology and compassionate care. Because your health isn't something to put off. Advanced Medical Imaging. Your diagnosis, their priority.
Lincoln is full of great golf courses in a state that is getting national recognition for exceptional golf. Friend Country Club is worth the drive, just 40 minutes from Lincoln and home to one of the state's most respected 9-hole courses. Enjoy their restaurant with popular items like a 14-ounce ribeye, 10-ounce sirloin, or chicken fried steak. Open Thursday through Saturday from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Expand your horizons with a trip to Friend Country Club, just 40 minutes southwest of Lincoln. It's worth a visit.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2 for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Do you ever feel okay in your current job and profession, but wonder if there's a better company that can offer more? Vision Mechanical is now hiring for journeyman plumbers and HVAC service technicians. Vision Mechanical offers top-of-the-industry wages, 100% paid health, disability, and life insurance, 401k with employee match, and paid holidays and vacation. Vision Mechanical believes in craftsmanship, teamwork, and building a better future one project at a time. Apply today or learn more at visionmechanical.net or email Ron at vmech.net.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And wow, what a great spring it has been here. We've had record sales happening at Koppel. And to show our appreciation, Koppel is giving out employee pricing on select new models. Yes, you heard that right. Employee pricing is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. So please stop on in the store and see the team or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Some rebates to dealer.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly sunny skies. It'll be windy with falling temperatures, a morning high near 71. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, continued breeze, a low around 35. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies return. It'll be breezy, a little cooler, a high near 59. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Austin and Jay with you here. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. 402-430-3852 if your windows need some replacing. You can get with Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Affordable prices, free estimates, all vinyl triple pane windows, and so much more for our friends down there in Hallam. Shout out to Gary and the crew. Thanks for sponsoring hour one of Old School. All right, Jay, Starter Human Jewelers text line has a couple things for us. Jesse the plumber, you know what they say about shoe size? Yes, the bigger your shoe is, the bigger your foot is. That's exactly what they say about shoe size. 7533, I have wide feet. I have to go one size bigger in Nike.
I'm right there with you.
I found that Nikes actually fit me better, like they're perfect width, but I struggle with Under Armour shoes. Adidas is hit or miss, but Under Armour, I cannot buy Under Armour shoes. My foot's too wide.
Yeah, Nikes are pretty narrow as well, but I've heard that about Under Armour shoes. And I think it's a different style of shoe, too. If you'd say, it has mesh or something like that. I mean, some shoes are a little bit wider, but I've had more problems with finding good shoes. And since I had so many surgeries on my left ankle, one foot is realistically bigger than the other. And it's not very noticeable, but I notice when I have my orthotics in and all that stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And when your dogs are barking, it's not fun.
Woof, woof.
Yes. Oh, that just makes it miserable.
Man. Well, Jay, let's make you happier by talking about your GOAT, LeBron James. Came out from reporting from The Athletic. LeBron James has directly told sources close to him that he doesn't want a retirement tour. Obviously, no decision yet on his future. Sounds like retirement is a real possibility. Sounds like the Warriors are still gung-ho about trying to pair him and Steph Curry for a season. LeBron and the Lakers, with their recent win streak, seems like they've played their way back into each other's good graces. And then, the Clippers are in town as well. Maybe a Cavs retirement tour or whatever. But let's just say that LeBron does get a retirement tour. What do you think that looks like for King James?
I think it's no different than like Kobe.
Okay. Standing ovations, little tribute video, whatever.
Oh yeah. Although and gifts and stuff. Yeah, I think it's no different than Kobe. He ain't gonna get the Paul Pierce treatment.
They do love you like that.
I think he has so many connections to star players throughout the league. I think it's and franchises. Everybody respects LeBron and what he's done for them, franchises and players and the NBA. Came in as the most scrutinized athlete maybe of all time.
Yeah,
and had the most pressure, and he's delivered, and then obviously exceeded some expectations as well.
Plenty of expectations, which is hard to do when you come in as the chosen one, the king at 18 years old from Ohio. And this is where, Jay, I think it's going to be interesting. We can't tell this now. We probably won't be able to tell for another 15, 20 years, but it might just time out perfectly in some way to where, if Kobe was this previous generation's guy that everyone modeled their game off of, wanted to be Mamba mentality, all that, maybe there's a wave of LeBron after that, right? I'm sure we're starting to see some of those influences already in the NBA, given that the dude's been playing for 23 seasons at this point. I'll throw this out there, though. I think it's probably easier for people to envision themselves as Kobe because so much was made of Kobe's mindset. If I just work hard enough, if I'm just in the gym enough. And the other part of it is, Kobe's bigger than people give him credit for, but wasn't also necessarily, built in a lab basketball robot. They could have played any sport he wanted, like LeBron, right? Kind of like the Steph Curry factor where, Kobe was obviously preternaturally gifted as an athlete, tall, lean, muscular. But you're more likely to picture yourself as a two guard in Kobe shooting off the bounce. I just got to work hard enough. You're not going to be 6'9", 275 running a 4.5, bowling people over like LeBron. Even if you could, ostensibly, hypothetically get to his skill level, you can never be the athlete that LeBron was. You can at least picture yourself in the Kobe realm.
Yeah, for sure. And like it's a great comparison. You put Steph Curry in there. Anybody can walk in and, shoot threes, and it's made it more fashionable. Actually, I think he's part of the reason why basketball is down so much. Everybody sees him doing it and think they can do it. You do not put in that much time, and he does have really good God-given ability. But yeah, I think as you see more big guards, you can envision yourself as Kobe. Kobe was not a finished product coming out of high school, struggled in the first year or two in the NBA, really outworked people, really developed his own mentality to really use his athletic ability. He was a crazy athlete now.
Yeah.
And he could go. Wasn't flashy, but he was very,
not in the same way.
Not in the same way. Was really athletic.
Because young Kobe would jam on you.
Oh yeah. So he still would jam on you too until late in his career. Became very strategic about it. So when you look at LeBron now, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
270 pounds, 6'9", Magic Johnson size, the speed, the force, the pressure, all that. So yeah, if he doesn't want one, then so be it. He's gonna be an owner and part of the team though.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Which team? New team or
Cleveland?
Established team? You think Cleveland?
I think that's already in the works.
Brady had no ties to Vegas, though.
No.
Would you want LeBron in on the ground floor of a franchise, or would you want him somewhere more established?
Doesn't
matter.
It doesn't matter, but I'd like to see him be part owner in Cleveland. Now,
I think there's a lot of sense.
Now, and now since he's been on LA, I don't know if going back to Cleveland or Akron is probably as appealing. And if you're an owner,
he can own from LA.
He could be a minority owner for sure from LA, but I'm talking about like Jordan in Charlotte. I don't know if LeBron wants to live in Cleveland year round.
Well, here's the other thing to keep in mind. LeBron is a billionaire by the Forbes real-time value tracker estimation. Is he NBA full on majority owner billionaire? Probably not yet.
Probably not.
So
yeah, you're right. He could work his way up though.
I'm not saying he could.
Cash in some of those Nike shares. He'll be right up in there.
Right. Nike's kind of tanking, though.
I know, but he's got like the penny. They could dank all they want. The money that the shares that he's getting or got.
Yeah. It's all on the table for him.
Yeah.
Interesting to see. But, of course, first and foremost, for King James and the Lakers is a series against Houston starting here before you know it. NBA play Saturday. Yeah, tomorrow. Right around the corner, literally.
It's all eyes on Ant-Man.
That's going to be a heck of a series,
and
man.
Bloodline.
Man. Guard each other all series long, fellas.
No, Bloodline didn't call him.
No, not yet.
He ain't calling him.
That's the pregame thing.
Yeah.
Get him in the zone. All right, he's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. A lot going on in the facilities realm at Nebraska today. Some news on a new proposal for Memorial Stadium. A new track stadium was opened today.
Woo, woo.
Capital B bread being broken, but ground hasn't been broken yet. I'm tired of hearing about this. Get something done or let it go. We'll talk about it next.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2% for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and guys, this is your reminder to take your health seriously. If you've noticed tremors, stiffness, or slower movement, don't ignore it. Parkinson's disease affects men more often, and early detection can make all the difference. This spring, take control. Get answers, take action. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're helping you spring back into health with advanced technology and compassionate care, because your health isn't something to put off. Advanced Medical Imaging, your diagnosis, their priority.
Time for a new AC? Call Bryant. Get rebates now and lower operating costs every day. For comfort and efficiency, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena May 2nd and 3rd. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Visit monsterjam.com today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And wow, what a great spring it has been here. We've had record sales happening at Koppel. And to show our appreciation, Koppel is giving out employee pricing on select new models. Yes, you heard that right. Employee pricing is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. So please stop on in the store and see the team or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Some rebates to dealer.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
Lincoln is full of great golf courses in a state that is getting national recognition for exceptional golf. Friend Country Club is worth the drive, just 40 minutes from Lincoln and home to one of the state's most respected 9-hole courses. Enjoy their restaurant with popular items like a 14-ounce ribeye, 10-ounce sirloin, or chicken fried steak. Open Thursday through Saturday from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Expand your horizons with a trip to Friend Country Club, just 40 minutes southwest of Lincoln. It's worth a visit.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score. Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts, answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, indeed. Welcome into Old School. Show brought to you, as always, by Graham Tire Company. Handful of Lincoln locations you can visit very easily for any sort of service that your car or light truck should need. They're more than just tires at Graham Tire. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust at Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most now for 75 years here in the Midwest. 402-464-5685. Your thoughts, friends, on the stadium renovation plan that will be presented to Nebraska's Board of Regents next week. And, Jay, what a long, winding road it's been to get here. It seems like we've been hearing about stadium renovation plans forever. Of course, some of that was involved with the new football facility, the building there on the northeast corner of the stadium. But the big talking point for the stadium itself has been the South Stadium renovation. It seems like that is what would be getting worked on here. And I think it's probably necessary, probably overdue, but I'm also not necessarily going to get my hopes up, as a Husker fan or person that, avails myself of Memorial Stadium from time to time, because this has been in the works. It's been talked about seemingly since before COVID. I know most of the pre-COVID stuff was the football facility, need a new building for football. But between that and now the South Stadium stuff that's made it to the Board of Regents and fallen flat with delays, new renderings, increased price tag, whatever it is, either get something done or stop talking about it. At some point, the time's got to be right. But if you keep bringing this up every year, it's time, we're going to do this, and you keep getting shot down by the Board of Regents or something pops up and you have to pull it, I don't know if I can speak for other Husker fans. I'm just sick and tired of hearing about, it's time, we got to do something. You bring a plan to the Board of Regents, and then nothing happens, and we have this conversation every year.
Yeah, well, when you're seeing the price tag, I think I'm looking at $600 million. I think it's a little bit harder to be like, all right, let's just decide to get it done. But I understand what you're saying. It been out there, even when Trev was here, he wanted to do some things to the stadium or in and around the stadium. Obviously, Troy, I think, had mentioned it a little bit last year at some recent time. And now I think it's going, or at least it says it's going to the vote for the Board of Regents. And it's
a week from today.
A lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Within this whole NIL and rev sharing space, obviously with Nebraska's record, people, you're going to have it probably split right down the middle. Wins before renovation. Renovation is needed. Obviously, you got to think some of the same setup has been there with the stands and the access to, food and stuff like that. I think it's probably been about the same at South Stadium since I was there. I mean, I give or take, and I haven't been there, but it kind of looked like it. So, look, it's a hot topic. I know last time it was between renovating the stadium or, putting some money up there into the Med Center up in Omaha. Now it's between, I don't think it's directly between, but you just was reading online, like some of the comments on X were, why not give all that money to the football team and you can use that $600 million to go get players? That's not directly apples to apples. That's not how it works.
Explain more about that, because we were going to get there. But I've always thought that was a silly talking point. I get why it's the easy thing to go to, but it's not as simple as that.
It's not as simple as that, where you can go. You're not going to be able to go get a $350 million bond to give to players. right? Because that's what 250 would become from donations. It sounds like, right?
Something like
and
that.
then the 350 would become some sort of bond, which obviously is way above my thinking capacity right now. But obviously, I know it's not hard dollars that you can go receive from and use it for players. So, I mean, I'm sure you're factoring all that in as far as being able to meet the financial expectations as far as rev sharing for the foreseeable future planning. I'm sure that's a part of it too, to make sure you're whole there. Now, you're thinking, okay, well, if you're asking donors for, $1 million, that million could be going to the football team. I'm here to tell you this. Please listen to me loud and clear. I understand everybody thinks you go buy players. That's not how this works. You still have to develop those players. And I'm just here to break you some bad news. There is not enough good football players out there just walking around, just like in that car right there. Pull them over. Here's $1 million. Then come here and be the next Lawrence Phillips, Tommy Frazier, Amir Abdullah, Tommy Armstrong, whatever you want it to be. That's not how it goes. And plus, everybody has money. Everybody has the same financial pressures as Nebraska. Whereas I think it really planted a bad seed in people's mouth when Frost initially talked about this, and we were really financially stable, that he floated it out there. We'll just be able to go buy players. See, that right there is like a equivalent of a parent when you have a bad kid and he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go buy him another video game so he shuts up. People took it literally. That's not how it goes. Yes, you have to go out there and being able to compete financially. And that has to be a high priority, because I could argue with you, Austin, if you're on the stadium committee, I could argue and say, well, the better that we play, the more money I have to go get the Jay Foremans, the Jason Peters, the Grant Wishman, and Ndamukong Suh will bring more people to the stadium, infuse more money into Lincoln across the nation with our great alumni base. Then if you wait a little bit, I don't know when this would be started, but if you wait another 2 years, I think it's 2027, right?
They would. So let's get into that, because I think this is interesting. It ties into a lot of what my concern would be is in the article that Nebraska released in their own write-up. It says, subject to approval by the Board of Regents, again, a week from today, full construction is set to begin following the 2026 football season. Fans will see progress quickly, with the project reaching approximately 50% completion for 2027 and fully transforming Memorial Stadium in time for kickoff in 2028. Think about that part, first of all, because Nebraska has one home game this coming November. It's against Ohio State, second week in November. And then their other 3 games are all on the road. So hypothetically, as soon as Ohio State's out of town, maybe you want to practice in the stadium, but
they ain't gonna practice in no stadium after that game.
Okay, well then you have 2 extra weeks to get a head start. In early November.
Yeah. Once Ohio State, if that's the timeline and it gets passed, what time is that game over?
About 5 minutes later, they're starting construction.
Yeah,
still waiting.
Take your pictures, go in there, and you know what? I'm not, man.
Then the next part of this, Jay,
you're gonna be trying to buy a turf out of there
in a heartbeat.
Seats.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to seats as well. Justin from Hickman, we see your text here. The next paragraph, though, from Nebraska's write-up, the original renovation plan was first introduced in 2023.
Yep.
With an estimated cost of $450 million.
Correct.
Okay. In late spring of 24, the original project was paused to allow for a comprehensive review of the scope, strategy, and costs. That review identified several critically important areas that must be addressed, including $200 million in mandatory deferred maintenance. The plan was updated to elevate the renovation into a forward-looking, revenue-generating project that fully addresses infrastructure needs and enhances the overall fan experience, yada, yada. The result is a comprehensive $600 million renovation plan. Think about that. You added an extra 33% to the price tag in 3 years just by not breaking ground. And okay, maybe there was some stuff that was mandatory and good on the review for catching it. $450 million is a lot of money. But $600 million is a lot more money than $450 million. By waiting, the price tag went up. And I'm not saying Nebraska necessarily did the wrong thing. If there are safety concerns, if there are accessibility concerns, whatever. But don't forget that $600 million is an estimate. I'm not saying it reaches all the way up to $1 billion, but I would feel pretty confident the final price tag is closer to starting with a 7 or an 8 than with a 6. Just by the time this is all said and over, with the way the construction industry, which we've heard from our friends at various companies that partner with us here, have said. So I don't think this is as cut and dry as, oh, you pony up 600 mil, or even with the bonds, there it is. That price tag is going to continue to climb like it has for the last 3 years.
And I'm sure some of the, I don't know, I wouldn't call them parts, but some of the, labor and everything starts to go up. It's a hard decision, man. I know people are in this day and age, anything financially is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the whole world. I mean, that's this is staying completely out of policy. It's just that's a lot of money, right? Yeah. I think everybody's in agreement. The stadium needs some upgrades at some point in time. Now, obviously, it's like, it's like a house, right? I wouldn't say you compare it that you got the house, but it's like, all right, I got to do some stuff. I got to make sure you take care of the foundation and all that stuff. So there probably is some structure things that are really, really like on the priority list up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other stuff is like, all right, if we're already going in there and doing it, we might as well do it at once. It just matter when you do it. Now, on the flip side, you're like, okay, do we really fix our house up when we got to send the kids to school? Like, I'm just giving an analogy as like if you're running your household and we're sending them to Harvard or something like that. And that's the equivalent of the rev share and NIL money. And then it's going to keep recurring and stuff, it's all, that bill is always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty much like having a kid that's staying at your house till they're like 35 years old. You know what I mean? Like Wedding Crashers. Mom, bring the meatloaf. Right?
Mom,
yeah,
where are my pizza rolls?
Yeah, where are the pizza rolls? Yeah, I mean, you could always say, okay, you should have done it back then. Sure, but I'm going to tell you like this, is that when that was, I guess, softly as a topic, I'll give you an analogy like when the CFP committee comes out with, okay, what do you think about 12 games or 16? The reaction. Well, the reaction, if everybody has, I don't know if you call it revisionist memory or history, that the reaction was, well, we just put all that money into the new facility. We need to win some more games before we do this.
Yeah.
Right? So
that money needs to go to players. That's where we're falling behind.
And then that was when the rev share started to be on the horizon. And I'm sure they knew about the potential rev share way before it became official. You just don't, get an email on Monday, then rev share starts on Friday. It's probably been in the works for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't delayed on purpose to cost yourself 30% more. You got to understand the dynamics of it. And I don't know if there's a right answer. There's not, because it's the chicken and the egg. Okay, let's just say this. Let's just say, okay, let's dump some money in the players, and it takes you to 2028 to let's say to make the CFP. I'm just guessing, right? 2028 to make the CFP. Okay, well then you're like, okay, we'll do it in 2029. Well, then you're going to get the same stuff. Like, well, you could have done it for $600 million. Now it's $750.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're like, okay, why don't we do it then?
Mm-hmm.
So. And
then you're messing with the stadium for a team that just made the college football playoff. Why are you taking
just
fans out of their seats?
Yeah, keep it the same. And then I don't know how the new. I mean, the pictures look cool. I don't know how that's going to affect the number of seats, the butts in the seats. And I led you that, Austin. Okay, I don't play softball. I just gave you a softball. I gave you a nice little home run. How that's going to work, and then how the whole reseeding, reshuffling, because there was a little bit of, I guess, pushback, when they redid the Devaney for volleyball now.
Mm-hmm.
You added, 2,000, 3,000 seats?
Yeah.
Some people got, hey, we need a little bit more bread. Now this team is really so as much as people are pushing back on it or maybe want it, be careful what you wish for, but it is needed. It has to be done. Mm-hmm. There's probably some stuff in there that needs to be upgraded to code. It's no different buying a house, right? Like say somehow you were able to go buy you came in and you bought like some mansion or something like that, but it was built back in the 1950s, but it looks great, right? It's
at least on the outside.
On the outside, lights work, and you can still host parties or some big building or whatever.
Still plumbing,
right? But the pipes and all that stuff from that code back in the 1950s or 60s aren't what in 2026. So you have to be able to address it. Next Friday, I want to make sure I'm gonna be here. Oh, I might not want to be here on Friday. Now, hey, because here's the funny thing about Nebraska fans. Anything that happens, they like, You should know, and it's your fault. Negative, Ghost Rider. That pattern is full. I'm not a border region. You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of bored of the regions at this point. In some ways.
Are you?
In some ways, I have a lot of.
They're going to have to stand on business this one.
They're really going to have to. I guess my biggest frustration, Jay, is that some of these renderings have looked so cool and the stuff's needed to be done, at least, in the maybe not, desperate need. But I don't think Memorial Stadium, especially South Stadium, is so quaint and so charming where, that's just part of the allure. It's part of the appeal. Maybe if Nebraska was still winning double-digit games a year, look at us. We're all packed into South Stadium like sardines. Yeah, it's hard to get everywhere, but that's okay. We're not leaving our seats. We're watching this, college football playoff contending team every year. I think that if Nebraska was winning, sure, maybe you'd have to do a little bit of a facelift. But I do think there'd be some charm and some appeal, right? You think about all the old gyms in college basketball, your old haunts in college football, the historic high school venues or whatever. Right? Even, Fenway Park or Wrigley Field, in Major League Baseball. Some of it's charming because it's lasted that long. Some of it is just like, hey, we don't have to live like this. Why should we keep living like this? It's okay if we upgrade. Of course, it always comes with a price tag. Of course, it always comes with some displacement, like Justin from Hickman says. He says, I want to know the plan for what's going to happen to people with South End Zone tickets during the 27 season. And then what are the new donations going to be with a projected $30 million a year more in revenue? TBD. I will tell you, I highly doubt that fans will get off cheap. Doesn't seem like that's going to be part of the plan.
Man. It ain't happening. I mean, look, man, it's not apples to apples. It's like I have a friend in Charlotte, right? His name is Sean Bryson, right? So he actually lives in Asheville, but he was telling me about, in Charlotte, he's just family just moved to Charlotte. And they live on not a real nice golf course, but they're in it's a community for his mom.
Sure.
And so, they have access to all that stuff. Well, they had new ownership come in. So just for him, when you buy a house, you move from Franklin, North Carolina, move up from Franklin to there. And let's just say guesstimation 6 months, the course is bought by a new group, right? So he was saying some of the like country club dudes where she's able to go and kind of do some of her rehab stuff, it's went up from $100 to $300. And the example, and the reason why I'm saying you're talking about that, like when things like this happen, it's going to cost.
Yeah. So
your same seat isn't going to be that much. And they got a lot to unpack with, a lot of times these seats, I remember even back when I was in college, they were, they could be passed down in wheels and all that stuff. And you were able to kind of keep your same seat without increasing your donation. It's big business. It's corporate right now. It's not fair. I hate it for the fans. Because, look, I grew up old school where the fans were a big part of how I went about my day. You know what I'm saying? How much dedication that I have because of the fans at Nebraska.
Yeah.
I played for, myself, my teammates, my coaches, my family, but the fans as well. And that's part of Nebraska. The reason why we have the sellout streak. The reason why you have more seats over at the volleyball stadium. The reason why you have an uptick in attendance in softball and baseball. Reason why we're going to get to it maybe in the next segment, or maybe we have to push it to the 5 o'clock hour. You got a new track and field stadium. Reason why you have a really great atmosphere over at the soccer stadium because of the Nebraska fan base. When you travel and you get off a plane or a bus at your team hotel, as we saw in Oklahoma City, when you just essentially submerge on a major city and turn it Husker red, that's part of that's part of the fans are a part of every single program that we have. And so I don't envy the like Troy and those guys. I don't envy them. I mean, that's why they're highly compensated. The border regions, I'm sure, are not going to have a pleasant weekend. You know what I'm saying? They probably will not fire up the grill on Sunday. If they do, it's going to be their mind might not be totally focused.
They'll be the ones doing the grilling of the presenters of the plan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a decision that they have to make. It's something that's obviously been pushed to the forefront. I know 2023. I think that's probably when it was floated by Troy, right?
I think no, Trev.
Yeah. Well, I know that I'm not going to talk about the details of it just because this focus is this one. In how it was going to generate revenue. It wasn't going to be necessarily the price tag, but man,
a couple more paragraphs from this piece then
Austin.
that I think think stand out?
Yo, from Scotty Scheffler, from Roy McIlroy on 18.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
the Board of Regents, to Troy Dannon, to Husker fans in South Stadium.
The sphincter muscles is tight. Man.
Under lock and key.
I probably would not go out this weekend. Because does everybody
Don't
know
get caught out. You got a big decision to make. Can't be seen you out and about on the town, people.
No, I'm just talking about I wouldn't be going out nowhere. I'd be just locked in, just looking at the computer, just hoping them numbers change. You know what I'm saying?
Can this start with a 5?
Hey, you know when you get a big hospital bill? Hey, I used to call sometimes, man, after I had all my surgeries. I'd be calling, just asking, going off, just so I feel better, sending them a check.
Yeah.
At least I got my money's worth.
All right. Yeah. At least I'm clear. A couple other things that stand out here, Jay. The redesigned stadium will offer improved access, seat comfort, enhanced sight lines, upgraded amenities throughout the entire stadium. East and West Bowl will be fully connected 300 to 660 degrees on the main concourse. 80,000 fans after completion, down from mid to upper 80s.
So let's just say, what is it, about 6,500? Let's give or take.
Give or take. So 80,000. 20,000 new chairback seats, 7,000 seats for students and the band. They'll be in position on, I believe, the opponent's sideline. Then there's this. Big Red Rebuild is a fan-first reimagining of Memorial Stadium where tradition meets innovation, yada, 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 ushering in a new era of energy access and year-round engagement. By elevating the game day atmosphere and expanding year-round programming, such as concerts and other events, the project will revitalize the historic landmark. The Big Red Rebuild will ensure Memorial Stadium continues to be a premier destination for college football and world-class entertainment.
So now
PBA is 3 blocks away.
Yeah, but it's different though.
That's what I'm saying.
It's different. So now
there's some competition.
So
there.
It's competition, but it's actually adding now. So you see those hotels down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all now what you're thinking when you're people. There's been somebody that's been known to be a philosopher,
philosophizer.
Yeah, whatever. That has told you that college sports is professional sports. So-called professional sports is entertainment. What is happening here in the great city of Lincoln, Nebraska, the capital of the great state of Nebraska, is now we essentially, as we've always said, Nebraska football and Nebraska athletics is like a professional team, especially the football team. Now you're getting exactly what we've been saying, or at least we've been saying here at the Ticket. I am particularly been saying it for years and years and years. Why is that? Because I'm telling you from personal experience, when you play a road game, and you're down in Houston and a few times in Buffalo when the weather permits, when you pull out of there on that Saturday to go to the airport, okay, them big trucks are pulling right next to you, right, like as you leave. And they are pulling up taking up the turf. The turf was actually already gone when we were on away games, and they're having concerts there. They're having rodeos. They're having, whatever it is that's going to make money. That's what's going to happen there. PBA is going to get a ton of concerts and stuff like that. You're going to have big events like the volleyball game. You got the big concert coming. You're going to have the Savannah Bananas and all that stuff. Why is that important? Ideally, you'd like to think it helps pay back the debt faster. I'm assuming. I'm not in those meetings. That's what those big financial guys that are, the accountants and all that stuff get to say. But that's where we're doing. Then next thing you know, you're going to start to see some. It's kind of like when I have really close experience with this because I lived in Eden Prairie, or had a house in Eden Prairie where the Vikings were at. And then when they redid their stuff and there's this big corporate building that essentially they bought. Now guess what's over there? It's kind of like boutique shopping, but it's actually still shopping. Restaurants, bars, sports bar, all around their practice facility because it becomes all inclusive. So when you normally own year round. Mm-hmm. So they're no longer going down to Mankato. They're doing it there. So they're having fans there every day. So not only are you coming to practice, you're going over there to eat. You're going over to watch practice. You're going over, and sometimes you have player appearances and all that stuff. Maybe that's what part of it is going to be it.
Numbers that Nebraska estimates: an estimated $1.1 billion in statewide economic impact, 7,300 new jobs created. Annual revenue from the new stadium is expected to reach $95 million, an increase around 40% above current levels. All depending on who they bring in, when they bring them in, and what it looks like. But again, we have 7 days. 7 days from now in a week, we will hear from the Board of Regents to see if this quote-unquote Big Red Rebuild project
We need to start
gets
the
approved.
ticket construction company. I want to get in there.
On the ground
I
floor.
ain't doing no labor, though. I'll just do it.
Supervisor.
Hey,
Site supervisor.
Hey, I'll wear a hard hat over there.
You know the perfect role for you in a construction site?
What?
The foreman.
There it is.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. Like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena May 2nd and 3rd. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Visit monsterjam.com today.
Need an adventure? How about the bright lights of Vegas? The magic of Orlando? Or the sunshine of Orange County? Now you can reach them all with new flights from LNK on Breeze Airways. Stretch out, relax, and enjoy the flight. Your vacation starts the moment you board at LNK. Book today at LincolnAirport.com. LNK. Make flying easy.
Cinco de Mayo will be here before you know it on May 5th, and Tipsy Tina's is the place to be. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 2 p.m. on May 5th for the Street Festival, featuring piñatas, giveaways, and more. Plus, see llamas from Sweet and Sassy Llama Farm from 5:30 to 7:30. DJ Joe Cruz will entertain starting at 7 p.m. with a spicy taco eating contest at 7:30. And the best part, as always, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Tuesday, May 5th, beginning at 2 p.m. at 8th and Q.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly sunny skies. It'll be windy with falling temperatures, a morning high near 71. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, continued breeze, a low around 35. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies return. It'll be breezy, a little cooler, a high near 59. I'm meteorologist Kyle Collector for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Asset Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Asset Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and guys, this is your reminder to take your health seriously. If you've noticed tremors, stiffness, or slower movement, don't ignore it. Parkinson's disease affects men more often, and early detection can make all the difference. This spring, take control. Get answers, take action. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're helping you spring back into health with advanced technology and compassionate care. Because your health isn't something to put off. Advanced Medical Imaging. Your diagnosis, their priority.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is indeed Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. We'll get to some more facilities news in just a sec, but I want to tell you about our friends at Schwezo Construction. Really appreciate them for helping sponsor the show. At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. They're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back both on and off the job site. Apply today at schwezo.com, schwisow.com. 40 years strong in business, Schwezo Construction. Jay, we have this question on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line from Steven. Are you old enough to remember Metropolitan Stadium?
Yes, I am. I'm old enough to remember when I would say they blew it up and put the Mall of America there. I'm old enough to remember when they made the Metrodome, and that was like the biggest and best thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the Metrodome is, obviously I played in the Metrodome. I was a ball boy there, so I know all the little, nooks and crannies there. Because when you get to a ball boy there, you're there like 6 hours before the game, jacking around.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came back and I was playing in the pros, I was like, yeah, this place is run down or not, needed an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big deal for the city of Minneapolis. Was it going to be tax dollars or the new ownership?
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, snowstorm, and magically the roof collapsed. Then you have US Bank Stadium.
So let me just throw this out there. The Tampa Bay Rays have been one of the most shoestring budget franchises in all of professional sports. When their roof came down and they were in the middle of stadium talks, they at least put the roof back on. So if the Rays can do it, I would like to think the Minnesota Vikings could have done it.
The weather was not coordinated. That's
how convenient.
Yeah. It was a contentious time up there. Because when they came with the US Bank Stadium, and then obviously they were playing at the Gopher Stadium, a lot of the local businesses in and around the Metrodome, they would make during those however many home games they had, 8 home games in the preseason games as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would really pay for it. Was kind of like when LeBron left Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
They would take care of them for the rest of the year.
Well, we hear that from all our local friends and businesses
Right.
down here, downtown in the Haymarket, just how important football season is to them, those 6 to 7 home games a year. And then basketball being good obviously goes a long way now too.
Yeah, so that's what we talk about, the fans.
Mm-hmm.
It's the businesses and everything. That's, one of the things that's such a great opportunity here is that if you come in as a young athlete, in particular, we're talking about football today, where you can really, create a legacy for yourself and your future family by how you take the next, let's just say year to year seriously and, go out and perform because you're getting paid. There's a lot of people dependent on you. The people that are dependent on you and watching you, if you're a big part of it, that means that collectively as a group, you're leaving good feelings. When it comes back for your trying to have a second career, start a business, or do whatever, just make relationships. You're open with welcome with open arms.
Steven says he flew into Minneapolis, St. Paul when the Metrodome roof collapsed. There's like 18 inches of snow. Temperatures fell well below zero. Says he had to go meet with OSHA to challenge a citation. Fun stuff, Steven.
And there had been issues with that stadium prior. Like people was talking about this could happen, and it was a huge storm. And, it obviously worked itself out. But that's a iconic part of Minneapolis, though. Where the Metrodome was. I mean, you got to think people have been going there forever. I mean, I used to go there.
My family, my mom and dad went there on their honeymoon
all the time. And, they've had Super Bowls there. And so the Twins have won, world championships there. So it's not just all that, we'll blow that up, or we'll blow the south end of the stadium up and we'll have an open end for a season or two. And then, all things are back to normal. I'll just tell you from personal experience, when I was a red shirt, I sat my butt up there. We weren't lucky like these red shirts. We were not on the sidelines. We were not. It was less distractions. And I kind of liked it after a while being up there because I could see the game so clear. And I could actually watch the game. And obviously it was, obviously impressive. But so it's a touchy subject, man. I think we're going to really dive into this, keep diving to 5 o'clock hour.
Okay, let's switch gears then to the new track that got put in, which is pretty cool. Of course, the old track got taken out to make room for part of the new football facility, and then the practice fields that are out there. Track got moved closer to Devaney and whatnot. And shout out to Nick Wyman and to Peyton for making their way out there to cover the official ribbon cutting ceremony. But Jay, I think that the bigger part than just the facility, a nice upgrade for a team that's been pretty consistently in the top 25 with All-Americans and, national finalists all over the place on both the men's and women's side, is that Kyle Crooks, the play-by-play guy for football, fills in on baseball a little bit as well, mentioned that Nebraska wants to become the host for state track with this facility.
That would be pretty,
It'd be pretty cool, except that I know a lot of people love going to Omaha Burke.
Yeah.
It's going on 54 years up there for state track. And of course, weather always plays a factor, as it does in Nebraska in the mid to late spring, getting towards summer. But we see a lot of, high school athletic championships and events put on by the NSAA at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Obviously, state volleyball, state basketball, state football playing in Memorial Stadium for the championship games and whatnot. On the one hand, I think that's pretty cool. On that same hand, I understand why Nebraska would probably want some of that revenue, from the NSAA paying to rent or use the facilities, from the tickets, concessions, whatever it is, and whatever their agreement is, how it works out. I wonder, though, if there isn't some portion of Nebraska prep fans who don't mind events being other places, right? Because Hawks Field has been used, for state baseball, but not all the time. At Haymarket Park, they use Werner. They use Tal Anderson up at UNO. They use some local fields up there. State track being at Burke. Use some local high schools, right, for consolation games or smaller class games in volleyball and basketball. I think it's cool. It would obviously be the honor of a lifetime, I think, especially for, kids that are growing up Husker fans to play on those surfaces, those courts, those fields.
Right.
I also just don't think everything has to default to being held at Nebraska, because I think Burke's done a really good job over the last 50 years of hosting state track. And I don't necessarily want to just rip that away because Nebraska has a new track.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's another tough decision. It's a great facility, though. I mean, it's world class. I mean, some of the stuff that I read on it that they've added into it, where they're able to kind of like lift the track and do different events, and it's all by hydraulics and it's real high tech stuff. It's hard to pass up not to have your state championships there.
Mr. Blitzkrieg says Burke can hold way more people than this current one.
Yeah,
you can get portable bleachers though, can't you?
You can, yeah. They'll definitely be able to accommodate.
Parking might be the issue.
Yeah,
but
when there's a will, there's a way, as we've seen. I just think it's an option. I mean, you play the state championships in football here at Memorial Stadium. It's just kind of an honor to get there. And I do understand Burke does a really good job. You don't want to take away from them because they obviously are able to. So I'm assuming they are able to benefit off of all the people going there. It's been there for forever. It's a hard opportunity to pass up. It's a hard opportunity, at least not to kick the tires on Might not happen right away. Might be something in the future. I do think the best way to go, a really good strategic relationship between the university and the NSAA is obviously the best way to go.
Yeah.
Both in the, short term and long term, so that, all things, it's got to be a little bit give and take, and it can't be all beneficial for the university when we have new facilities, and it can't be all beneficial for NSAA. It's got to be mutually, and there's got to be, sometimes you got to maybe take it on the chin, but I think if you have these world-class facilities, it's a really good chance to use it.
Yeah. Like Nebraska wants year round.
Yeah. And so, it's just the way that, fortunately and unfortunately, I think the explosion of the TV contracts of college football has really, the trickle down effect or the indirect decisions are some of these decisions, because they become all inclusive. They're not directly related, but when you make these decisions, or when the decision is made, everything's included.
Yeah.
Every sport's included, even down to high school. And so this is just part of it. We'll see where it goes. It's a great option to have. And then obviously I know Berkwood doesn't want to relinquish that as well, because there's a lot of history that's been accomplished there at Burke.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it does end up at Nebraska at some point, maybe just for a trial run, 1 year of Burke upgrades or whatever. But
I got a bigger question though.
Ooh,
I don't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
Okay, say
your show too.
Let's just say next Friday. How many Board of Regents are there?
I believe there are 8 or 9 of them.
So how many do you have to? Does it have to be unanimous?
Let me look up Nebraska Board of Regents rule. I assume you just passed my majority.
Okay, so the majority would be what? 6? 5?
I'm looking up the rules here. See what we can do here. 8 voting members elected by district for 6-year terms.
Okay, so it's 8. So the majority would be 5. Is that correct? 5
Yep,
or more?
5-3. Yep.
Okay.
Maybe some abstentions here and there.
So then if they decide to move forward with the stadium, with the stadium being under, obviously, renovation, where would the high school play that championship?
I don't know.
Would they move that to Burke?
Well, Nebraska's still going to, think about Kansas's stadium, right? When they redid it, they were still playing there just with the construction equipment in the background.
But would that coincide with them moving it to grass?
That you can do in an off season.
Yeah, but if you have the state championship in or around, say, that last game, you get that field would be tore up.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah, so you can't. So really, the bigger question is, if Nebraska goes to grass, where will the high school state championships be?
Could you do Class C and below at Seacrest?
You would have to do it all at one place. Would it be Seacrest? State championships at Seacrest?
Would you go to
Lincoln High? They said it has more space, right?
Wesleyan, Concordia,
probably Wesleyan.
Probably.
It's got to be like a Lincoln place. It just popped in my mind right now.
You go to Creighton's football field. Sorry. Let's go to break and wrap up the hour after this.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Are Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you'll never come.
Saturday, April 25th, Memorial Stadium.
Wish I didn't, but I do.
With special guests, Kings of Leon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets are on sale now at ZachBryan.com. Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
Cinco de Mayo will be here before you know it on May 5th, and Tipsy Tina's is the place to be. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 2 p.m. on May 5th for the Street Festival, featuring piñatas, giveaways, and more. Plus, see llamas from Sweet and Sassy Llama Farm from 5:30 to 7:30. DJ Joe Cruz will entertain starting at 7 p.m. with a spicy taco eating contest at 7:30. And the best part, as always, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Tuesday, May 5th, beginning at 2 p.m. at 8th and Q.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
back in. It is Old School. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you. We will let you know that coming up here about 5:30, we will be heading over to Streams and the app. Kansas City Royals on the air, taking on the New York Yankees for a 3-game set. We'll get to our Starter Human Jewelers text line probably at some point in the 5 o'clock hour. Did want to get to this, though, Jay, briefly, because it relates to your Houston Texans. Will Anderson, break that bread, young fella. 3-year, $150 million+ extension for one of the best young pass rushers in the NFL.
Yeah, congrats to him. I mean, well-deserved. Just came in that huge draft class, him and C.J. Stroud, and has been all that's been advertised. And then some. Great leader, too. Great representation of himself in the Houston Texans via Alabama. And seems to be getting better. You know what I'm saying, every year. And he's adding stuff. But obviously, you have Danielle Hunter as his co-partner. Look.
And think about this, almost 90% guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
134 out of the 150.
$50 million a year. And you were the number 3 pick.
Highest paid non-quarterback ever in terms of raw dollars. Not quite the same in terms of average annual value per year. Micah Parsons essentially making about $250,000 more than he is there. Also, just behind him in the percentage of the cap. So most raw dollars, maybe not quite the biggest chunk of the salary cap, but heck of a building block for Houston. They knocked it out of the park with that draft.
Yeah, I mean, now you got to, they exercised the 5th year with C.J. Stroud. Now you got to get him to perform like he did his first year and a half. A little bit of uptick last year. Big year for C.J. Then you'll see probably franchise tag or another contract with him.
You can also just trade him in the division,
Negative. Why would you want to do something? Why would you suggest something like that, Austin?
Because I would like to have a consistently good quarterback on my team for once.
Nope. I think it's a big year for Houston Texans franchise. They've drafted excellent. I mean, there was a graphic showing all their draft picks since D'Amico's gotten there, and some of their guys they've got that they've drafted even late. Like 60% of them are starters, and so that lets you know they've identified talent. It's worked out. They've developed well. So it's going to be a process. So when you get the defense set with young talent, right? I mean, young talent, and Will was the big contract that you needed to take care of. You still got a year or so for the majority of other guys. And you got Stingley taken care of. So now you got to get the other side. This is why it's important. This is a huge year for Houston as they move forward, as they were this close from probably, breaking the seal last year.
Then the other news, this one from Ian Rappaport with the NFL Network. Jacoby Brissett not attending phase 1 of Arizona's offseason program, looking for an extension that's paying him starter money. Brissett was set to make just about $9 million, a little over, but only 1.5 guaranteed. He wants a little bit more security, for a guy that's going into the year as a starter. Ian Rappaport says that Arizona does appear willing to work with him and maybe shore up some of the guarantees or give him a little bit more security. I'm hearing more rumblings, Jay, seeing more smoke around Ty Simpson to Arizona. Yeah. I think Jacoby Brissett would be a certainly a worthwhile veteran for Arizona to have around to potentially mentor him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to take care of him a little bit more than you normally would because of what your decision you made with Kyler Murray, and felt like you could get out underneath that contract salary cap wise. And Jacoby Brissett has been the ultimate veteran, played well last year for them. Really good locker room guy. He's been in this situation before. So him missing time is just him trying to get a little bit more than backup money. By no means, I know he has pretty good sense. His agent shouldn't be telling him, okay, this is where you can go be a franchise quarterback. But it is the point in his career that you could get some more security, not only like a 3-year contract, understanding this might be your starter. You might only start 8 games. Then you go into backup mode, kind of a little bit lesser version of Kirk Cousins. It's a good idea. It's a situation to get taken care of because Ty Simpson has a lot of potential. He doesn't have a lot of game time experience, so you can't turn the franchise over to him like he's a 3-year starter at Bama, but he can be your franchise quarterback. And so that makes Jacoby Brissett that much more valuable. Plus what he does off the field and in the locker room is very, very important.
There's some NFL contract news. We'll get back to some thoughts with the facilities, high school and college and otherwise. Plenty more to come in hour 3 of Old School. Don't forget, we will be with you on the radio until 5:30. After that, we will be on stream. So if you're not there yet, maybe pull up our app, start listening there. That way you won't have to switch over. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. Hour 3 of Old School brought to you by Graham Tire right after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Spring sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts, answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Hour 3? Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, coming at you on this beautiful Friday, even though the temperatures got a little bit cool. We're Old School live in effect here at 1040 O Street. We are brought to you by Graham Tire. Been serving people in the Midwest for 75 years. 4 locations here in Lincoln. Take care of all your tire needs. Your car and truck needs, look them up. Graham Tire of Lincoln. They hooked me up. They will hook you up as well. Great service, great people, and obviously great products. Moving on, Austin, quickly, because it took off like wildfires. I knew it was coming down the pipe. Then I saw it before I came in here, and obviously we communicated about it. I'm just going to ask you right now, just on first glance, right now. What's most important to you right now as a younger fan? You know about Husker history. You know that you have a little bit more knowledge of the inner workings of NIL and the importance of that. What's your vote?
Yes. Get it done.
No.
Find a way.
Now, I'm going to ask you this. I guess the second question. Are you voting yes to do some or all of it? That's the bigger question. But it's all of it because that's not on the docket.
Right. I mean, if it's just yes, no, black, white, all or nothing, just do it all. Just get it all done. Probably going to have to find ways to get creative, whether that is in terms of raising more capital or finding some excess that they can be trimmed. And of course, that would most likely mean jobs, and that's never a good thing. But are there other areas that they could cut back from? Yeah, I think the project should go. Does it need to? Not necessarily. Again, like I said, I'll say it again. I think that if Nebraska was winning more games, it would be on the agenda because, hey, we have this money, or we can get this money very easily. So we have, a part of our stadium that's workable, but we can make it nicer. So let's do it. It's always a weird look when there's a lack of success. I think that, South Stadium and, the historical quirks with the way that it was built. Because people forget, Nebraska used to have East and West Stadium, a little bit of North, but not much of South. There's a reason, it all looks so different because the North was the old, track house, whatever. Then you had the East and West seating, and then South got added later on. It looks like they just kind of, threw it up there. It's there. We needed more seating. We expanded. So be it. I think if you can, at the very least, kind of gussy that part up, make it fit the architecture a little bit more, make it a little more appealing from the campus view, that goes a long way. I think that, anything you can do to streamline the fan experience, which, like it or not, plays a factor right now, right? Ratings are, I still think, generally fine across the board for college sports. But, we keep hearing reports over the last 5 years, satisfaction at events is down in person. Maybe it's this generation just soft. You need your Wi-Fi, everything at the tips of your fingers all the time. Maybe there's some validity to that take. But we heard from Jeremy on our Sutter Human Jewelers text line that said there were times you'd try to go get concessions or try to, go take a leak, and you'd miss half a quarter or an entire quarter sometimes just because of the infrastructure, the lines and whatnot. And sure, some of that's baked in, but that's an excessive amount of time, to be waiting. And so fan experience is something Nebraska has to think of, especially in an era where there hasn't been as much recent success, right? You're winning. People are going to keep coming back. They can deal with it. And, the beer's a little colder now, where the hot dog's a little fresher and popcorn's a little more buttery, whatever. But when you're losing, you have to find ways to get people coming back to the stadium. Obviously, you go to, we'll just win more games first, and that'll solve a lot of problems. But, now that you've been down in the dumps, especially by your standards, you've been kind of out of the national conscience, especially in the postseason picture. And I don't know if you're losing interest, but you're certainly not with the same amount of positive momentum that you'd like to be. This stuff comes to the forefront, and it's not the main thing, but it's important enough that I think it needs to be handled.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's gained enough momentum that you have to vote on it. I'm going to assume, and obviously, give them, credit that they have enough planning for NIL and rev sharing, and obviously the NIL or rev sharing for sure. Obviously, that's kind of by the Big Ten, money.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously enough, I guess, hopefully guarantees from donors or big donors that they can either do both, but make sure that all the NIL and extra money, especially because if there's not, a set rule, then we're going to have to, get back to, do whatever you have to do until somebody stops you, that you have enough money outside of rev share that you can go get the type of athlete that you want to continue to, in the football's case, to, become more competitive on a national basis, which they're, trying to work towards. And then obviously with like volleyball and other sports, and now we're seeing with basketball, that you want to continue to be national power.
Yeah. And I think the important part to keep in mind too is that back in the mid 2010s, it was a facilities race, a stadium race. How nice can we make it? Players really like that stuff, right? When they, and still do to some degree, but that's not necessarily the measuring stick anymore. It doesn't mean it's less important, just who it's important to, or how it's being talked about has changed. You'd like to be at the forefront of everything. It's hard to do. It's nearly impossible to do, but the fan satisfaction, fan engagement, especially like you said, for a place like Nebraska, maybe they have a little bit higher tolerance for some of this stuff, willing to deal with it just because, hey, it's what we do. We go to games on Saturdays anyways, but the less success they see, the more that other stuff comes to light as well. And it's just part of setting the pace of, being the school that Nebraska wants to be and pushing the envelope forward, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's, part of the process. And, look, when you, like I said, finances for everybody is obviously on the table, just the way the world works. And obviously it's a big price tag that Nebraska hasn't had to approach for quite some time. And, depending on the foundation and structure of the present stadium, nobody knows where that's at, because if there was some issues there, then that's a little bit more sellable. Then you have to get over there, really try to sway some of the people that, are going to have a reaction of why we got to do it all at once, and why do we have to do it at all? Or then you have people that let's just get it over with and let's deal with it after that. So you got to make sure, all the different scenarios are covered and you have answers for those, because ultimately the fans and the people that have, we're going to have seats and season tickets and all that might have to pay a little bit more of a premium. But so the communication with them, whether they like the communication or the answers or facts or not, has to be clear, and it has to be continuous.
Yeah.
And so that's a big part of it. And then obviously, you don't want any of this if this new construction goes through, you don't want that to affect the football team and how they're able to perform. And what's that look like? Been floated out there. You might go to a different type of surface. Will that be put on the back burner? You know what I mean? Or is that part of this and all that? So the details, if it's passed, probably need to be a little bit more clear. Not that you're obligated to do it, but I think you could probably feel like if you get out in front of it and kind of quote unquote control the narrative, it works out better for you, reception wise and obviously feeling wise around it if it's put through and goes forward.
Which you hit on, what I didn't say, but what I was kind of getting at is that I'm not sure how well Nebraska's handled this process, right? Maybe they're doing it by the book, doing the right reasons, and there's more going on than I know. But from the outside looking in, so many stops and starts. Again, extra 33% on top of the price tag, which, okay, yeah, we're 3 years down the line. Some inflation is expected, just world events and, normal natural ways of business happening. But holy cow, I'm not saying it's been like a Kansas City Royals trying to find a new downtown stadium level, communications, PR disaster, far from that for Nebraska. But I mean, there wasn't necessarily a clear plan. It's hey, you guys want us to do something, so we're going to do something. Here we can do a little bit. Well, then that gets rejected. Well, was it half baked? Why was that wrong? Do we have any clear explanation? And if we do, and I've missed it, and it's wrong, please let me know where Nebraska explained what else they had to do, why they got put on hold. To me, it just, from what I can recall offhand, and a little bit of digging I've done, was well, the money wasn't there. The timing wasn't quite right.
You're talking about 2023?
23 and then 24, and then not really last year, but then to bring it up again here, something like this, I would like to think that if you're proposing it because it's going to get passed, and maybe there's some degree of float it. Do they want it? I know Carolina's had some of those same conversations with the Dean Dome.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people say, well, it's old. It's going to cost too much to renovate. Just move it somewhere off campus because you have to have some place to play. You don't just want to tear the Dean Dome down and leave it there. Others are saying, no, you just have to renovate. Just pour into this building. There's so much history and whatnot there. So Nebraska's not alone in having these conversations
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's just Nebraska's turn to have those conversations. But I mean, Carolina kind of lost control of that, right? Didn't go to former players for their opinion first. Just said, we're thinking about this, and then kind of let the wildfire spread. And I just think that's an unforced error.
Yeah, I mean, I think the more people you can pull in and get their opinion and ideas, even though you probably have your mindset, I think it works out well for goodwill obviously in the near future and late future as well. So, I mean, you got to think, when I got down to Houston, it was a brand new stadium. The Astrodome was there, and there was a lot of history with that.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have high school championships there. The University of Houston, played there. Obviously, the baseball team played there. It was like the seventh wonder of the world, or I think when it first, was built. So I know what it's like when you have to change venues, and fortunately for Nebraska, you're not taking it from Lincoln to Ashland.
Mm-hmm.
You're keeping it here, but you're going to have to. People are going to be upset for a season or two, and you have to be able to deal with that, because these big decisions, and it's big money, you're going to have big response, both in the positive and the negative. And when you're in those positions, whether it's the board of region or I guess athletic director, president, chancellor, whoever is kind of in this, you're highly compensated for it, and that's part of your job, that you're going to have to hear people's opinions on it and have to respect it, even though majority of the people probably don't know all the ins and outs of it and all the details that goes into it. But you got to make sure that you educate them as much as possible and do what you have to do, because it's a hard time because of the price tag and what people will be paying, or what we'll be paying.
Yeah, and the fans aren't ever going to know everything, all the inner workings, what it takes to get it passed through. So if I'm coming off arrogant and we need to know everything, that's not at all what I'm trying to say or do. But there are ways that you can control the narrative and the process around this, because I think, Jay, if you would tell Nebraska fans, or we talked about this with Wisconsin as well, right? They're $14.6 million a year that will be given to Wisconsin athletics on the taxpayer's dime. If you would tell Nebraska, you get $250 million in philanthropy and $350 from private bonds, not planning on using any taxpayer money for this, go for it. Yeah. Cool. You found a way to pay for it yourself. But I think that would be a huge headline in a day and age where a lot of, like you said, the philosophizer said college sports are professional. A lot of the entertainment team owners are, looking for public money. I think Nebraska, if it's going to use, Memorial Stadium for concerts, necessarily open it up for public events, they could have asked for the public to chip in. But it doesn't seem like they are. And that, to me, should be the lead story for Nebraska, an athletic department that prides itself on not only not taking money from the academic side, but having a mandate to pour some back into the academic side. I would have thought that would have been, a really good selling point for them to hammer home throughout the course of this process. But instead, people are going to see, $600 million. This is so expensive. Why can't it go to the players, instead of, hey, we're putting the onus on us to find the $600 million, not on you guys. This is all for your good, and you have nothing to do but benefit from this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going, taxing everybody, but you're you're getting $250 million in donations. So a hefty part of it is coming from the people. So it's a tough decision to make. And, you got quite a lot of people here chiming in on the text line that understand it. They're even talking about Haymarket Park, which seemed like it just was, just yesterday, opened, but obviously not. Needs to be updated a little bit. And I just think that's the way it is. I think where people are hesitating, just from the little that I've been told and interacting with people, is that they felt like and correct me if I'm wrong, text line, they felt like, and this has nothing to do with Matt Rule or Troy or anybody else that's here now, this is prior to them, they felt like it was impulsive and too quickly, I guess, pushed through when you did the Go Big Red project.
Yeah.
Because at that time, remember, Clemson had just, recently won 2 national championships.
Had the whirly slide in their facility,
and
the
haircuts
cryopods.
And you didn't have to leave, essentially. And Georgia did theirs, and Alabama did theirs, but they were at a different part of their
different tax bracket.
Yeah, and Ohio State did theirs, and obviously USC did theirs a couple years ago. But Nebraska decided, I think this rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and this it has nothing to do with the present day regime in the athletic director position on down and the coaches on down, because none of them were here. It rubbed people a little bit the wrong way that you bypassed, and when, like, I guess Frost and those guys are being a better coach, having finished standards, winning more games. So what are we going to do besides what is required? Is we're going to get this shiny new facility here, right? And this is what's going to solve our problems.
And hey, look, everything's fine.
Right. That's where I think there's some hesitation with that. And it's not even apples to apples, because if there's structured things, and obviously we got, Kevin in Southwest Lincoln, he says Memorial Stadium is not a pleasant experience with packed crowd. In fact, it's terrible. Uncomfortable seats and too difficult to get up and go buy concessions or go to the bathroom during the game. Even Haymarket Park needs to upgrade. It looks dated after 25 years. And, that's what you hear. Whereas, like, you're stuffed in there, and they probably need some more bathrooms, more strategically placed, and all that other stuff. That's different than, let's go get this shiny new toy, and then everybody across America is going to come here. So, in this Go Big Red project. But the everyday fan that is thinking about this isn't differentiating. They're just seeing the price tag, because when we built the facility, that was a huge price tag. When we were going to build this new stadium, or part of the new stadium, or whatever we're going to do to the stadium, renovations, it's a huge price tag. All they're seeing is a lot of money, and they want to see, production on the field.
The other thing that I'll throw out here really quick is that we're in that Nebraska bubble, and we've spent so much time, around thinking of discussing Memorial Stadium. You can't name a perfect stadium in pro or college. Everyone has its quirks. Everyone has its issues. And I mean, this especially came to mind when you mentioned the Texers, not you, Sarge, Haymarket Park, right? Look at some of the other baseball stadiums around the Big Ten. You can go to better high school fields in Nebraska than some of these Big Ten baseball.
Like
Westside. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I don't even want to spend time listing all of them that are probably better than some of the places that I know Ben and Nick and, the baseball broadcasters for HSN have traveled to. They're pains in the butt. Haymarket Park, could it use an update, an upgrade? Maybe, sure. But for the Big Ten, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And for a school like Nebraska that likes baseball, but hasn't really fully committed ever to baseball as one of the crown jewels, you're doing pretty darn well, especially that you have the partnership with the Salt Dogs. And I know that's been good. It had some bumps in the road, as every partnership does. But then back on the football side of things, Memorial Stadium could use updates, could use upgrades. Absolutely. I agree. It'd be great for fan experience, which I think is important. It can still be a crown jewel in college sports. I think it is in a lot of ways. And just because we're talking about Memorial Stadium's issues and the price tag to upgrade and what we'd like to see changed, doesn't mean it's not still a good stadium with a lot going right for it that provides, in some cases, an unparalleled game day experience, just because we don't know what the issues are at Bryant-Denny, at Sanford, at the Horseshoe, at the Big House, in Happy Valley, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin in Southwest Lincoln says the perfect stadium, Arrowhead Stadium in KC, is incredible going to the Cincinnati, Nebraska game last season. Wide box seats and plenty of leg room with unblocked views.
Okay, Arrowhead's nice. I've been there my fair share of times.
Yeah. It's not.
But what if
it's not perfect though.
What if you're not a tailgater? There's two ways in and out in traffic there.
Tailgating was not fun there.
I'm not even a tailgater, so that doesn't really stand out to me. There's one main way in or out. There's a back way that takes forever. And it's kind of sketchy. There's nothing else to do around there. You were locked into the game.
Yeah.
Can't grab a bite to eat outside of the stadium, and of course shares the parking lot with the Royals. And Kauffman Stadium itself is great, but there's nothing else to do. The parking and the traffic and the travel suck. So I'm going to push back on perfect.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any perfect stadium. You got to think. Obviously, I have a lot of family that played at University of Miami. The Orange Bowl is kind of like, what Memorial Stadium's like. There was a lot of history in that stadium. It wasn't in the best part of town, but that's what made it special. They obviously share the new stadium with the Dolphins. There's pluses and minuses to that, and the reason why I know that is because when my dad went into the Ring of Fame, I went down there, but I was also going down there to kind of look at how they do things with their alumni, right? And they have in Miami Hurricanes benefit off of the Dolphins. It's not the other way around because it's a pro stadium. They have more room, and so the way that they do their alumni, they essentially have a big like box or whatever you want to call it, like a whole wing for former players and their families. You can't do that in college. So there is no perfect stadium unless you're partnered with a pro team. Example, the Gopher Stadium is not ideal. The thing that makes it appealing is because you have plus stuff to do along that. You have the light rail that gets you and drops you literally right at the stadium, right at the gate. And then if you park, there are plenty of parkings on the side, and they do have paid parking, or you can Uber from downtown Minneapolis, and there's plenty there. And there's plenty to do leading to it. So they get you coming in and then when you leave. But I would like to think if I was the Gophers, I would like to be in US Bank Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Kind of like it was before. But so there is, it's give or take. I don't think there's any perfect stadium because things change so much.
And some of this is, of course, subjective, right? We have Triple H's dad saying Lambeau is pretty much perfect. If we're talking just about the stadium, that's one thing, but the whole experience, right? Like you're talking about Minnesota, the getting there, the what else is there to do around there? Because I've been to Lambeau, not for a game or anything, but I wonder what the people in the houses directly across the street think about all that traffic. Maybe they love it and it's part of their experience, their family, but maybe it's noise, maybe it's hassle, maybe it's traffic, maybe they have litter in their yard or something, and that counts as part of the stadium experience, and it's not perfect for everyone.
I can tell you this, and do we need to go to break because we're on the street? We'll go to the break, and I'll give you my own, I guess, indirect experience with a stadium like Lambeau and get some insight on that. We'll go to break real quick. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
At Schweezel Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schweezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schweezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey, everyone.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, second segment, 5 o'clock hour, old school, the new school way. Talking about all the, stadium renovation, and if it happens, comparable situations to what could possibly, be here in Nebraska. We had a texter talking about Lambeau Field is perfect. And, that's kind of, it's a matter of, opinion. The closest place to Lambeau in the NFL cities is Buffalo. Probably why young Jay Foreman didn't have a realistic view of the draft, was like, I don't want to go to Green Bay or Buffalo. I ended up in Buffalo, and it was great. It was probably a blessing in disguise. And the one thing I learned about Buffalo is that stadium is great. They've made, at least when I was there, it was really good. It was a great stadium. It needed an upgrade. Like, we didn't have an indoor facility. We got one. We did some different things, to the meeting rooms and stuff like that, right? And then obviously they, did some stuff to the seating and stuff while at the stadium. And obviously you see it, when Josh Allen is there, they did some upgrades to it. The one thing that is true, there's a lot of history there. And so they kept everything intact. Obviously, while Mr. Wilson was the owner, there was no chance that we were going to get a new stadium. We were just going to, periodically spruce it up, right? And I remember where me and Doug Flutie and like Eric Moulds and Kenny Irvin and some of those guys, we'd sometimes go play basketball or racquetball. They had like a little court, in the kind of the bottom part of the stadium. And, it wasn't, it was dusty in there. We had to bring the duster in there and get it and make sure, it never got resurfaced, and, we just made do without it. We made do with it. And then our meeting room was, in the wintertime, when we met in the stadium, it was like in this other part of the lower part of the stadium. Like when you walk in, you go through like the old part or the new stadium or the old stadium, you'd walk through and then you walk up through the meeting rooms, one of the team meeting room up to the locker room. Or you just take the ramp. It got a little cold down there when you have a team meeting and, it's the middle or late October, November, December. A little chilly in there before you walk across the hallway to go to another cold meeting room. Now they had heat in there, but it wasn't as comfortable when we got the new facility because Buffalo needed to get that. They thought like you had to have an indoor facility to attract free agents and so forth and so on. I do understand what you were saying about Green Bay and Kansas City. Look, I call it 1.5 ways into that stadium. When I played there was 2. Now with the explosion of the Bills Mafia and tailgating and the money-making opportunities of having vendors there, it's literally you can't get all the way through on the way that I used to come. So essentially you have to go halfway, cut over to the main way. It takes forever to get in there. So you got a bunch of row houses and stuff like that. And so now you see Buffalo getting a whole new stadium. And you're seeing that they're going to have retail around it. They're going to have entertainment around it. And, I think they probably got some public funding. It's going to cost a little bit of money. But it's sometimes a historic stadium. Now we have new ownership with Buffalo, obviously, is sometimes, gets pushed to the side and they got to do some other things with it. So luckily enough, we're not, taking down Memorial Stadium, but we're obviously going to probably renovate it. And that's obviously a big issue for people.
You scared money, don't make money. Got to spend money to make money. It's what it comes down to, and I think that it's always a risk when you do something like a big stadium project.
Yeah.
Of course, there are risks involved. Stuff can go wrong. The price can escalate, what have you. But I do think in general, the idea of this stuff happening is good. Maybe the timeline's been accelerated like a lot of timelines have now with stadiums to where we've let, workable and good be not good enough anymore. And I think there's always just some natural human sort of comparison. Oh, they have that. Why don't we? Oh, this was an inconvenience for me. It's got to get changed. And that's just natural. Comes with attending games and being a fan and whatnot. So I think that it's good that teams find ways and programs find ways to invest back in their fans, that invest in them by giving them a better experience. It can't be done willy-nilly. It can't always be the first thing. I think that it's easier said than done to save up all this money and say, hey, we have this on hand. Now we can go for it. But that takes forever to do, especially with all the unknown costs that pop up. And in this day and age, too, of rev share, it's $20 million and climbing that goes to student athletes now, which is good. It's just another thing you have to factor in. But I would also tell fans, it's okay to be upfront, direct about what you want changed, but there's no reason to be petulant children about it. If that's the reason that you're not going to a game because you have to stand in line a little bit or it's a little bit crowded when you get to your seat, I get it. Hassle is hassle. But if you're a fan of the team and you like to go to the game and you have a good time when you're there, I understand price keeping you away, but if it's just a little inconvenient for you and that's why you're throwing a stink, I can't get on board with that section.
It's tough, man. I mean, going to a game, if you're trying to take a family or something, it's expensive, no matter what the sport, no matter if it's college or pros. And so, in one way they want it to be comfortable. Another way, you're okay with a little bit of inconvenience. I think all that goes away when you have a good product on the field and you're winning because that becomes part of the process, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to deal with it and stuff like that. So I've, been at professional games, college games, and it's not, sometimes it's not ideal. Like I said, I went to the Big House and I went to Ohio State. I was very impressed with Ohio State Stadium. It's probably, pretty old, maybe as old as Nebraska. I was not impressed with the Big House at all. It wasn't very intimidating to me. I mean, I'm sure if Michigan is playing well, I was not impressed. I've obviously been to a game in Nebraska, been in the stands. And so, look, there's two different ways to think about it. Ultimately, they got to make the decision and they got to vote on it. Then they got to go out and try to raise the money. And I don't know where that's at. I'm sure they'll be able to, talk about that to try to ask for, more donations from people or whatever. And so nothing happens overnight. It's just a decision. We'll see what happens after the decision is made, either yes or no, and go from there. But it's a big day, or it's a big decision in Nebraska football come next week, and it has nothing to do with being on the field. So it won't affect directly on it, but you also know that's a big part of it because there's a lot of money that's going to be pumped into the stadium, and you just got done probably just zeroing out the balance on the Big Red project.
If you're even there.
If you're even there.
At this point. Do you believe the numbers of $95 million per year? And how long do you think it would take for Nebraska athletics to really be able to reap the rewards of that windfall in terms of investing it back into the programs and having money to spend to improve?
I think a couple winning seasons.
Okay.
Like, 8, 9, 10 games. I think I don't think that would zero it out, but I think you'll be well on your way to put a big dent in it. And I think, that's what they have to push for. That's got to be the standard. And that's why this thing is like, they're in this. It's a partnership. The better that the football team plays, the more money that you'll get, easier to raise, and then you can go from there. So it's a tough decision. I think with stadium renovations, like you said, with Carolina, bringing in some former players and some people that have experience of seeing other stadiums is good, because I think if you do this and it gets passed, you want to make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed. So everything that you can think of, if you can put it in the stadium, put it in there.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I always say, we're already in the deep end. We're in the super deep end, right? We've already jumped off the Olympic style diving board, and this isn't just 10 feet. It goes down to 40, 50 feet. So if it's a couple extra million, we've already passed that. We've already exceeded that. So let's make sure everything's taken care of. If we're going to raise the money and then get a bond, and you need to get a couple more million in the bond, I'm sure whatever that means, if you're at 350 million versus 360 million in the bond, that's like one home game. Not one home game, but it's like one season's worth of home game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
360 is different than 375. It's different than 4.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure they give yourself a little wiggle room and so forth and so on. So I think it's a huge decision, man. I know it's next week is going to be on forefront of people's minds, and then the powers that be and the football team have to be hand in hand with that. You got to have a united front. And so it's just, there's a lot of meetings that probably need to be had or have had happen prior to get it to the point that where I don't know how many things are on the docket for the Board of Regents, right? You know what I mean? How many topics they're going to discuss, but I'm sure this is going to take up majority of the time. Because how long do they meet for? As long as they need?
Okay. We have April 24th, 9 a.m. Okay. Agenda.
Early. You get breakfast?
See here. Call to order, roll call, approval of minutes, presentations, kudos, resolutions, president's remarks, public comments, closed session, university consent agenda, academic affairs, business and finance, academic affairs. There's a bunch going on there. Another business and finance thing is in section B. of or subsection B of section 11 of the agenda. It appears executive session, some reports to be reported on. So I'm about halfway through. There's a lot of stuff on this agenda.
That's like, hey, let's just get through. Let's get through the appetizers. Let's just get to the 4-course meal. Let's get to the big meal.
Yeah,
I got the T-bone steak. We got to make sure how we're going to divide this
we
up.
got to get there.
Yeah, let's get right to this because it's a huge deal. I'm sure it's going to catch a lot of media attention. It probably works out well for him. It comes out on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see. I mean, this is huge.
We got all sorts of materials related to this as well, Jay. If you want to spend your weekend reading over all this.
Well, are the materials like the financial stuff?
It appears like it.
No, I'm good. I know what number it is. You said 600 million. That's all that matters.
Because it's an even number.
It's an even number, but you putting all that stuff in there, like 10 million here. No, I don't need it. I don't need that. You're trying to get approved for 600 million. That's their job to read all that stuff. That's their job. That's what do they get paid? Or you kind of get out of the benefits of being a border region?
I assume that. Maybe a little stipend or something. I don't know.
Well, that's what they get, that stipend and all the benefits from it. You know, tickets to games and all that stuff. It's not my deal to read all the details.
In a different life, I am reading up on Supreme Court decisions.
Just in general?
Just for fun, but.
What made you decide to get into that?
I don't know. I mean, I think politics are interesting to a degree. I think there's a lot of fun ideas to talk about, and I think hypothetically the Supreme Court justices should be, among the smarter people in our society with their understanding of it, and they just have their own language, their own way that they talk. And I don't read a whole bunch of them, but some of the big interesting ones I do, and it's more interesting than numbers to me, right? Like I can do surface level numbers. I know I have a reputation as a stats guy, but like I am not good at just pouring over like budgets and proposals this, proposals that. That is not my speed at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll take up a lot of time, and there's probably some interesting stuff when you look at the different branches and who has really the power and stuff gets there. And I'll stick to watching my crime shows and my Game of Thrones and all that stuff. How simple
and something else, but
yeah, there's some good shows out there, man. I'll give it up to Tyler Perry. He's made a comeback. He was under a lot of stress. He did a really good job of that Netflix show he has, and it's pretty entertaining. But I could tell you what, if they want to raise some money, I don't know how you would be able to do this, but if you did like a live look-in on YouTube into that decision-making time for the stadium, but I think if you did it to where you just had the border region and you kind of blacked out their, had them in a room where like they're in there and blacked out, so you didn't know who it was, so you could just hear like how they came to the decision.
Yeah,
that would raise it. How much do you think that would raise?
Be essentially Nebraska's version of C-SPAN.
Yeah. How much do you think that would raise?
What are you charging? What, $5 for access?
Oh no. $19.99.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm paying $20 to listen to that.
Yeah.
I might pay $5 and have it on in the background.
Okay.
I might pay $5 and get it audio transcribed.
Okay. $5 then. 10 at the most. How much money do you think
I just don't think you can charge more for your version of C-SPAN than you can a spring game ticket.
All right, $5. How much do you think they'd raise?
Couple grand.
Couple grand?
People have day jobs.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. It'd be easily over 100,000 people with this type of decision. You got to think.
Would pay $5 to listen live as opposed to just read it when it comes out on social media.
Yeah. You got to think all them farmers out there they would have it on. Going down to the Elks Club or wherever they go. I don't even know if they got Elks Club anymore. Is there a little morning coffee to the Legion? 100,000 people across the state of Nebraska will be tuned in. You want to know why they would? Because when they would meet with their friends and family over the next week or so, they're the expert. You didn't hear it. I did. I heard it live.
I paid $5.
Yeah, I paid $5.
How's it feel?
Yeah. And they would recite everything. Well, region number 3 said this. Then, yeah, I think you can get 100,000. That's $500,000 right there.
It would be. I'm less convinced. You could talk me into it.
Yeah. I pay for a couple linebackers.
Maybe one good one, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
The Border Regions Linebacker Scholarship. There you go.
Just had to redo the stadium every year.
That's right.
Keep funding that endowed spot.
Anyways, we'll take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this week. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll be right back.
Seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, we hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Hey, this is Jay Foreman, the host of Old School, 3 to 6 p.m. here at 93.7 The Ticket. And one of my favorite things to do is come down and meet all the fans before and after as they cheer on our beloved Huskers.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines. Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is Grant Wister. I played at Nebraska, and after football, I wanted to build something in Nebraska that I was genuinely proud of. Champ Roofing is that. We built the whole company around one idea: do the job right and treat people well. Roof replacements, inspections, gutters, siding, whatever you need, our team is going to show up, communicate with you, and handle it with real care. Nebraska homeowners deserve that. Visit us at champ-roofing.com or call 402-858-7449.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And electrical.
John just tried Runza's new Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger with its sweet heat bacon jam, pepper jack cheese, bacon, and cream cheese.
Whoa, this burger's like totally...
What?
You know, boom, 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 boom.
Not sure I'm getting it.
It's totally jammin'?
Ah, I see. Well, don't jam with your mouth full. Try the Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger. Because from the way we make it to the way it makes you feel, Runza makes it all better.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Quick segment here before we turn it over to Austin himself in corner 3. Great week. Obviously, appreciate all you guys texting in on a Friday. We know everybody starts their weekend probably about Friday, about 11 o'clock after the drive is on. But appreciate you guys staying tuned, giving your opinions. Definitely the text line will be open next week. We have a week to wait. Little cool weather. Still enjoy your weekend. Looking up on Sunday as far as weather-wise. Right in time to fire up that grill. NBA playoffs this weekend. Ant against Bloodline.
Man, I do have to ask, with the NFL draft coming up next week, what was your celebratory I just got drafted meal? Are you grilling it in honor of it this week?
For me? Oh, me?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
So it's next weekend? I'll definitely
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I'll definitely fire up some ribs.
Nice.
Yeah. But
I didn't know if you'd be a wings guy, given the Buffalo drafted you. Wings every year.
I could do that too.
Buffalo.
I'll smoke some wings. Yeah. I saw a new recipe, so I'll definitely try to do that.
Nice.
When I got drafted, though, I had like a couple bushels of Maryland blue crabs. That's my favorite thing ever. But I'll fight. You know what? I'm gonna have some wings.
There we go.
I saw how this guy cuts them different, and then he does this thing, and so you takes the seasoning and puts it underneath the skin. So I'm gonna try that. Yeah, a little bit more.
I feel like that's gonna take some work. A little more labor intensive.
More work, but
yeah,
it's the ways his look well worth it. I don't know if mine will look the same. How many times he's edited and put filters and stuff like that, but that's what be the plan. So a week away.
Nice.
So Emmett and those guys, I feel for you. This is probably one of the longest. Was it Thursday? A little bit over Friday. Probably the longest week that they'll have in a long time because you're waiting to get your opportunity. You're waiting for somebody to choose you because you've chosen Nebraska, and you're waiting for a week to reach your dreams and stuff like that. So stay patient, stay humble, stay inside. Don't drop the bag. Do not be out there thinking you already got drafted and cost yourself some money. No gas masks.
Nope.
None of that stuff.
No car crashes, no speeding tickets.
None of that, man. None of that. Hey, get your Netflix passcode right.
Go mow your neighbor grandma's yard and go change a tire on the interstate and help an old lady cross the street.
Keep your phone charged. Stay on Zoom. Get your game on. Call of Duty, Tiger Woods, whatever it is.
Don't be too much on the Call of Duty. Don't get banned, right? Those chats get leaked sometimes. Then we streaming.
Yeah. You'll turn off the comments and turn off the mic.
You play on mute. No, just headset for audio only. Just listening. We're not talking.
Yeah, get your little PS5 on. All jokes aside, though, wish them all the luck here in the next week. The big day on Friday next week. Woof.
NFL Draft Day 2
and
Stadium Project.
Man, a lot of stuff going on. So, anyways, Austin Orman, Jay Foreman, we're old school. We will holler at you on Monday.